wah, wah, bum, 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 bum. All my geeky friends are here for Monday night. Everybody, hey, hey, hey. Who is here tonight? A bunch of great geeks. And welcome everyone to Clobbering Times issue number 162. Welcome. We made it to another Monday. Or maybe I should say we're starting. Maybe we made it to another Monday. Lucky us. Everyone, I'm as always just so proud and happy to be joined by my wonderful, beautiful friend, the amazing, the great Purple Valkyrie, folks. Say hello, everyone.
Good evening.
Purple, thank you so much for being here with me tonight. You're the best.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. Always love to get to join you.
Oh, it is so much fun hanging out with you and stuff. And we got tonight, since we got all kind of stuff, folks. We're gonna kind of like a sort of a, I don't even like this. I don't like this term, but I use it anyway. What they say, a chill stream, in the sense that we've got no specific 100% topic. We're going to talk about things, but it will be comic geek related because that's what this is all about. This is Monday night Mark C. Comics Talk, everyone, and it will be that, but it'll be loose. We'll talk about all kind of different stuff in this because it dawns on me. I don't think we've had a chance to do that much, probably like just to have a just kind of free flowing conversation as much on the air.
Oh, you're right. Every time we do it, it's usually we've got a set subject that we try to stick to. So this should be a lot of fun.
Indeed. Although we will of course, there are many, like for example, we still need to do some more with villains, and of course there is an endless supply of topics to mine, of course. Dadman Walking 55. Yes, you were the first in there tonight. Good to see you, my friend. J-Man, what's up, buddy? They're linked to both J-Man's channels and, of course, the wonderful Purple Valkyrie's channel is in my description below, everyone, and many other links to many other wonderful channels, by the way. So please go check those out. But I just want to thank everyone for being here tonight. Let's see. Here's I'm putting it took me a second there to get my links ready because I was not prepared. But here is, of course, Purple's link. Everyone in the chat. There it is. Let me put it up there. There we go. So there. And it is also in the description below, everyone. Snortopoopus is here. Snortopoopus is a good bear.
I love saying Snortopoopus' name.
Oh, yes. It is just, yeah. And of course, Raquel sings it and yells it out loud to him. But you got to wait. Raquel's got to be here to do that. That's her trademark. Just like I won't even yell Clobbered Times because it's for Loki to do. Loki just, whenever Loki's here, he definitely yells it out during the credits. Minimus is here. Let's see here. Who else popped in already? Bahalami's Minion. Hello. Oh, and as Raquel likes to say, and Pupper, because of course she has a little puppy riding around with her. I hope you are being safe out there on the road, Apollomies. It is lovely to see you, my dear. D-Bud Martin, what's up, brother? Hello. Let's see here. Who else? Oh, my goodness. This thing jumped on me. R1 Avalon. Hello there. Great to see you. That rascal, the great Pat S. is here. There he goes.
Pat joined me this morning on my show. It was great to have him.
I missed it. Oh my God! I didn't know he was going to be on there, or maybe I did. Was I awake? I forgot where I was. Well, I missed it. Well, it's recorded though for poster. Well, is he a rascal or what?
He is. We had a great time talking this morning.
Oh my goodness! Well, Pat, it's always good to see you there, buddy. I guess he lives down in my neck of the woods. Let's see. Who else be here? Bop. Make sure you got everyone. Andrew, 46 and 2. Hello there. Does that mean you're 40? Is that a sports record? Like you've won 46 and lost 2? I don't know. Just checking. Vanilla Gorilla. I've never seen you here before. It's good to see you. Thank you. I like that name, by the way. That's a cool name. Let's see. Okay, a few show notes, everyone, before we get started. First, I want to say a big shout out and thank you to everyone who joined Raquel and myself Saturday night. What a crowd we had, Purple. Biggest one we ever had for Saturday Night Star Trek.
Yeah, you guys are doing incredibly well on Saturday. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger, doesn't it?
It sure does seem to, and it's so much fun. It was, of course, we talked about Star Trek: The Motion Picture and Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, and we get big crowds even when we're doing the animated series. But yes, that one. Oh, I mean, it was gigantic, and it was huge, and everyone was really wonderful, and we have a lot of fun with our chat on site. Yeah, but yes, yeah, it's getting crazy. I had to write down all the names so I could shout everybody out, which I always do on Saturday nights. That's what I do. It may not be wise because it takes forever, but I like to do it. I like to let them know because see, when we're doing all our reviews and stuff, we can't really spend a lot of time looking at the chat, or we'll never. We barely got it. We went over 4 hours the other night.
Really? Wow.
It was 2 movies because everyone, we spent a lot of time on motion picture.
Wow, yeah, everybody loves Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, see, and there's the thing. What we did kind of this past week with Ricotta is that everyone, like you just said, everyone knows Wrath of Khan, and even know motion picture. They, we didn't have to go into a deep dive like an EFAP type thing. Those shows do that so wonderfully. Whether it's Critical Drinker or any of those guys who do really great reviews of stuff. Brightest Day, good to see you. We didn't go from that standpoint. We talked about certain things about the films, our experiences with them. We even had Mark D with a C come on as a special feature, just like a Blu-ray or DVD, and show a bunch of his Wrath of Khan merchandise and tell the story about how he got to meet Leonard Nimoy at the premiere in 1982 at his school.
I would have loved to have been able to meet Leonard Nimoy.
Oh, yeah, he's the only one of the original cast I never got to meet, and I would love to. And Raquel, of course, is using this book as a reference. This is a really cool book right here.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's got a lot of nice pictures and things like that. And we did that. We talked about how my origins, how it was kind of motion picture was how I got started. This comic book adaptation. Because I didn't get to see Trek a lot.
Yes, because back in the day, all of the films, whenever there was a film coming out, there was either a book or there was a comic book that was released before or both before the films came out, wasn't there?
Well, yes, and it's kind of funny. I got a late start with Trek because a lot of people started. I actually saw it as a kid, very like once or twice on network television when I was so young. I didn't get to know what was going on. So, growing up in syndication, we didn't get it that much, and so I was Lost in Space was my gospel. That and Batman TV series, and of course comics and cartoons, as you well know. But and then even before, I got it. I loved Star Wars. I even loved the original Battlestar Galactica, all before the motion picture came out. But it's kind of, I guess, it just makes sense that comic books were my gateway into Star Trek. Also, just as TV was my gateway into comics and cartoon, comics were my gateway into Star Trek because they started having these ads on the back of Marvel Comics for with one of those posters. And then they came up with this comic adaptation far before the movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wore this sucker out. I love that Bob Larkin cover. And, so it was that. And it just fell in love with Star Trek. And at that point, we got one of those big, bulky VCRs. And they started showing the show again and recording it and just fell in love with Star Trek. But it was comics that led me to Star Trek in a sense. And, of course, I don't know if you ever saw this one, the photo story. That was I
haven't seen that one.
This here, as you see the word balloon there, it is still shots from the film told in comic book form using pictures with called fumetti type style telling where it had word balloons I wore that damn thing out too. That one was in color. The Wrath of Khan was in black and white, but they used to do that with episodes too. And so yeah, that was great, and then I love this comic, though, the comic adaptation of the motion picture. There's a scene that was in the comic, but not the movie. We talked about all that. But so, yeah, we had a good time talking about it. She really, really loves it. And there were everyone's kind of split on that film. As you know, it's a bit controversial. Not everyone likes it that much. But
I like it, but I can see where the criticism comes from that it is just an extra long episode. But it's beautiful. It is beautiful to watch.
Yes, and I don't know if you've ever seen the director's cut.
I don't think I have. I think I've only ever seen the theatrical cut.
First was a theatrical cut. Then there was a special edition, quote unquote, with the VHS when it first came out on VHS in the early 80s. Those VHS of movies were like $70, $80 to buy back then. You could just rent them and copy them, but I had to buy that one. And then on network television, they added the special edition, like, for example, with a scene where Kirk is coming out of the ship in the thruster suit, and you look up in the rafters, and the whole set's incomplete. You're seeing rafters, and the ship is not put together, and they actually put that scene back in the film on TV. But the director's cut, Robert Wise, got a hold of it back in the early 2000s, and some argued that does streamline the film a little bit, and it does. You can watch it, you can go. He added a few things, but he also trimmed some things when going through V'ger. In that, you also get a new effect shot. You actually get to see what V'ger looks like. The ship. Mm-hmm. There's a shot of the V'ger ship. So, but yeah, J-Man, look, Raquel loves it, and I love it. So, other show note, by the way, I guess I was about to do show notes, and I got off talking about Saturday night, but I had a wonderful time Saturday night. It was, like I said, Purple, we're just having so much fun with that show. It's the best. I'm going to, we're going to talk about some cons a little bit later. I'm going to a con this Saturday, actually.
Nice.
But I'm going to be back in time for the show. I hope. Let's see here. Wednesday night, folks. This is us. I'm sorry. This one. Wednesday night, Flash. This past Wednesday night, again, thank you all. What a crowd I had for that one, Purple. My buddy Flash and I counted down our all-time top favorite 25 favorite movies, and it was brutal. Something we used to do on our old show all the time. In fact, we did so many of those lists over the course of 11 years, we ran out of ideas for lists to do. And so we did our favorite movies, and usually he used to tease me all the time, and I would say, whatever the list was, I'd say, God, man, narrowing that down to 25 wasn't that brutal? Whatever the list was. And you go, no problem. I say, screw you. But this one killed him. It's like, I can't believe I only have to give 25 minutes. So many movies I have to leave out there, because there's so many great, movies that you love. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you're the same way with movies. So
when you're limited to only 25, yes, you've got to be very selective.
Oh God, yeah, it's a killer number for that. You really, you just got to. And so, of course, everyone in the chat was wonderful, and they were all listing lots of movies that they love. And what we used to always get, we got this kind of a little bit. Everyone was cool, but they used to get this on BTR Live, like whatever the list was. But just take this one for example. Anything that's not on your list, there are people, whoa, how are you getting this on your list? How's this one not on your list? How's that not on your list? How, that kind of thing. I'm like, well, it's a favorite list. I don't know what to tell you, but which is in all good-natured fun, So we decide this Wednesday night, as we always used to do after a list show, we would do a follow-up show, usually the night after, in this case, the week after. We will do the honorable mentions, because everyone was putting so many movies in there. And I was seeing, while we were talking, I'm seeing all these people putting this movie, that. And I go, well, that is a great one. I wish I'd made my list. Sorry. That was a great one there. I do love that one, but it's not on there. It's only 25. So we'll do like an honorable mentions thing. It won't be in any particular order. We'll just talk about, we'll let people throw some movies in there, and we'll comment on them. And we'll talk about some movies that it just killed us to leave off the list,
Did you guys have any that you agreed on, or were your lists very, very different?
Almost every time, because these lists are so different. Purple, our lists are so different. You would think, how do these guys even know each other? Mine is, of course, the list of a 12-year-old. But just off the top of my head, some stuff, he has a lot of genre stuff, but see, I have stuff like Tron and Buckaroo Banzai and Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and Batman Mask of the Phantasm. The only mature movie I have on my list that you could argue is like an adult movie is LA Confidential, which I love. And Tombstone. He has Tombstone. But there's some that are on both of our lists. For example, the ones that were on both of our lists, and by the way, he takes a lot of guff from people because he put on his list some movies that people really used to make fun of him for, such as Kingdom of the Spiders with William Shatner. I kid you not.
That's a great B movie.
See, think I'm kidding. Look, there it is. I kept all the posters up because we're going to talk about somebody. But he's got stuff like Sling Blade on there. That's a great movie, but it's not on my top. He's got a lot of comedies. I only have one comedy. But here's the ones that made both our list. Tombstone.
Mm-hmm. Awesome film.
MASH.
Cool.
Love that film. The only other comedy I got on my list, he killed him to leave his off his was, of course, Duck Soup with the Marx Brothers. But let's see here. I'm going to make fun of Flash. Are you here? Because I'm making fun of you right now. He put this on his list. I'm kidding. I'm not. It's not me, but everyone likes to pick on him for it. Legend of the Lone Ranger. He loves it. I can tell you. Let's see what else was. Obviously, low-hanging fruit. You know this would be on both lists.
Of course.
You knew this would be on both lists. You knew this would be on both lists.
I would be shocked had it not been.
This was his number 4. It's my number 1. This was my number 4, and it's his number 1.
Oh, I love Jaws. I would have put it top 5, probably.
Yeah, it's in my top 5. I adore. I think I had it 4, yeah. And so, what else? I think. Yeah, so we had a few on the same list, and then, but if you look at that list, I think everyone probably got a feel for the fact that our lists are very diverse, and he'll always like that they're so different. Let's see. Here's Pat's list. Every Steve McQueen, Clinton Eastwood. Well, I do love Eastwood and John Wayne, but I have in my defense, I have 2 Steve McQueen movies on my list, folks. 2. I love Steve McQueen. So
I lean more towards Clint Eastwood. I've got to admit.
Oh, I love him. Yeah, man, I love Eastwood. I love John Wayne, and I love them. I mean, they have some movies I truly love, but 25 is just, man, it's just no one should have to go through that kind of stuff, right?
If you really want to upset him, do a top 10, but do the stipulation that it can't be any of the films that you've already done.
Oh, it'll be brutal. You know, by the way, this is our favorite list. Last, I think in November, October, he and I did our most hated movies list.
Was that an easier list to do?
Well, it was. Yes, it was very. And here's the thing. Remember, we had to. Yeah, I always have to put out the caveat. We're not talking about bad movies. In other words, well, we think they're bad, but not like low-hanging fruit, like Planet Nine Outer Space. Movies that we think are bad. We're talking about movies we hate. Just like these are the polar opposite movies that we love. They're our personal favorites. I mean, there are all kinds of movies that make all these snooty, critics top lists. Phantom Outsider, good to see you, buddy. But for this list, it was, it was different. It was personal stuff. And those 2 lists, so we've done that. And the only time we ever did 10, because it was always 25. I just thought that's kind of I don't know why that number, I just went for it. Because we used to have some time constraints on BTR when we used to do this. Back then you only got 2 hours of live streaming. Then the rest, if you went over, you get it to go an extra hour, but it would stop streaming and it would save into the archive. So we had to get it in under 2 hours, and time was a challenge.
So is that one of the pluses of being able to do this on YouTube?
God, yeah.
Yeah, there's no time constraint.
Well, I love it because sometimes when we would be into the extra hour and we just kept going, even though because we knew someone could listen to it later, friggin' BTR would just cut off in the middle of it. I mean, don't get me wrong, we had a lot of fun there, but the glitchiness, if you think StreamYards and YouTube's glitchy, I mean, I know technology is different now, but man, BTR's outdated. One other show note, everyone. I know we're doing the longest show notes in the world. What the hell? Actually, this is far in advance announcement. Well, actually, before I do that, Thursday, the Global Geek Gang show gather. We don't know what we're going to do. We don't think Ash might be able to make it, but Ash might not be able to make it, but hopefully everyone else will. Global Geek Gang on Thursdays, as always, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Now, in the far-flung future of August, because we all know that the Marvel Comics will not celebrate the 60th anniversary of their first family, their world's greatest comics magazine, my beloved Fantastic Four and yours. It's on clobbering times to do it. Just the way it is, folks. Hey, just the hand we've been dealt. Because Marvel sucks, and they don't appreciate the Fantastic Four. They don't care. They're not going to do anything. I've already seen some of the things they got planned for a celebration, and they could suck it. So it's up to us, folks. And so I decided that August 8th, that'll be a Sunday, 4 p.m. Central. It is, of course, that is to 60 years to the day that Fantastic Four #1 was released.
Nice.
So I figured that'd be as good a day as any, don't you?
I think it's a good day.
Perfect day for it, I think. So the Global Geek Gang Show gather, folks, to celebrate the Fantastic Four. And of course, if you are game, because by the way, I know you do a show. So I scheduled it if you are game now. Obviously, you do a show if you're busy, whatever. But I wanted you to at least pop in for a second or join us if you would like to. If you have anything to say, just to, if you feel like it, no pressure. Even though I'm saying it on the air and embarrassing you if you don't. No, I'm just kidding.
I would love to. I would absolutely love to join you. Absolutely.
You are invited, and that was why when I was trying to pick a time, I go, "Oh, Purple's on," so I'll do it in the afternoon so everybody could, it'll be. And Jed, the pop culture, they go on and stuff like that, and everyone. So I thought I would do it later in the afternoon. I thought that would be best. And so again, of course, we would love to have you stop in because I know you're a fan of their biggest villain, Dope Doom. So
absolutely. Did you put me as Medusa on that picture?
I did. She's purple.
That's awesome.
You are. Yep. You saw. Yeah. I love Medusa. Hey, you're a member of the Fantastic Four. Medusa was a member.
She was.
And redhead. So we love her. I hope you don't mind that. I would have put on every other one. I always use Valkyrie, but just a Fantastic Four theme thing. And you are an honorary member of the Global Geek Gang. Even though I know you're busy that time of day usually, but of course, you are of course a wonderful dear friend of this channel and always honorary member of CLOBBERIN Times. And besides, you have the best Dr. Doom statue I've ever seen. So, I can't wait. So this is going to be fun. It's a little far in advance now, but and as everyone might know, or everyone knows, the old CLOBBERIN Times, and it's just like to be the same with this one. August is, of course, all of August is Jack Kirby month on CLOBBERIN Times, because of course it is his birth month, and I celebrate him all that month. And this is just one other way to do it. So, we'll do other stuff on the show, don't get me wrong, but we always pay tribute to him and celebrate him. And on his birthday, the 28th, I will be doing a special show for that. Always, because the King of Comics, without the King of Comics, we don't have comics. We don't have anything. So, there we go. That was only like forever. Take like half an hour of me doing show notes and silly crap like that, Purple. I'm sorry.
That's awesome. I love that you've got so much planned. And you were saying in the green room, how long have you been streaming now without a break?
Maybe up to 20 or 22 days. Like I lost count. I don't have exactly, but at least every single day I've been on either, and I only do 4 a week of my own.
That's insane.
It's every day. Some of them were 2 or 3 in a day, and it's not. Most of them aren't planned, by the way. And you know what? It's not a complaint, by the way. It's just like it's kind of me just kind of laughing at. Oh, look at that, Medusa. I love Medusa. Did you watch that stupid Inhumans show, by the way?
I didn't, to be honest. I saw it and I thought this doesn't really look worth watching. And to be honest, I didn't hear good things about it. I like the cast. I thought some of the cast were actually pretty good, but it just looked very, very cheap, I think would be the best way to put it.
Boy, was it. Well, I'm here to tell you that if you ever have to doubt what a chucklehead I am, I watched it all.
Oh, God.
Oh, guess what they did? Do you know what they did to Medusa?
What did they do?
Beautiful lady playing her. Gorgeous. All right, you're going to think I'm lying. You're going to think I'm making this up. You're going to say, oh, come on, seriously. That's why now that I've set it up, you won't. But you would have if I told you just outright. They cut her hair. Yes, J-Man put it in there. They cut her hair.
So the whole point of the character?
Oh, my God. Look, if you don't have special effects, dude, just don't put her in the thing or whatever. Oh, my God. Even a cheesy effect that looked stupid would be better than cutting her hair off.
Oh, my God.
I wanted to. Oh, God. I'm watching. Go. Wait a minute. Are you kidding me? In the second episode, I think, or something like that, like Pat says, I was right in there. I'm like, say why? Are you out of your friggin' mind? That's her power.
Is this was this a budgetary constraint or?
I guess. I guess. I mean, it was first of all there's the thing. It was stupid to have it on TV. Everyone likes what's his face. What's that guy playing Black Bolt? Anson Mount. Good actor, fine. I mean, he's fine as Black Bolt. And of course, let's be honest. I love Black Bolt, but you never have to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, the young lady cast as Crystal was cute. She didn't really look like Crystal. She's really, really cute. Everybody else, didn't really come all that close to looking like the characters.
Yes, I know they had Lockjaw in there as well, didn't they?
Yes,
That's where most of the budget went.
I guess. God, it sucked. So stupid, and the story was sucked. And Maximus, of course, it was all about Maximus. Oh my God, you're gonna cut her hair? Really? Why don't you just kill her then? It's like killing her. It's the same thing. Idiots. I can see that on. Could you imagine being on the set right now, on that set, and somebody sees the script? Let's say you just happen to be one of the people that, and you've read the comic. I know you're probably not allowed on the set if you've read the comic, but I'm just saying. And you go, "Hey guys, this is been hired." Exactly. This thing in the script right here. Yeah, this here, right? Yeah, which says, we're gonna cut. Medusa say that's a joke, right? That's pretty funny. You guys are killers. What? Wait a minute. It's a joke. You're kidding. This is like a practical joke. You're kidding us. No, we're doing it. Everybody else, we're gonna. Well, come on. No, you're not serious, right?
Oh yes.
Oh my God. Whoever did that, who made that decision, okay, everyone. Hey, Chris Persian, what's up? I'm calling it now. If I ever meet that person, I'm gonna have to ask all of you to come visit me in jail sometime, because I'm gonna hurt him. If it's a dude, anyway, and it probably well, I don't know. It is Marvel, may not have been. Daryl the Derelict. Come, you can bail me out. If I ever met that person, I'm not a violent person. I joke about it, but I'm not a violent person. I might have to just put my hands on that person's throat. Maybe not kill him, but like, dude, what?
What were you thinking?
What? Well, yeah, you were thinking. Well, and if it was for the budget, I don't care. Just, it would have been less annoying if you just called her Medusa and then have her use her powers or anything. It's just like a woman because she's a beautiful woman, if I remember right. Long hair. Just let her have her long hair because she did for like a second or whatever, and just don't address it. I don't know. It's so stupid. Yeah, that's somebody that really needs to be beaten up with a tire iron, to be honest.
See, this is why fans get so frustrated when stuff like this happens, and they think, well, people are being nitpicky, but they're really not, because you're taking away the core point of the character.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And I think a fan, an outsider says, yeah, or it was the bad guys. It was done at the behest of Maximus. Jeffrey Wilkerson, how's it going? Don't worry about the go to jail behind that madness. I'll go out on my way to start a Patreon. Thank you. I appreciate that, Jeffrey. I think justifiable, assault in that case. In fact, the judge might go, hey, let's say the judge is older. Yeah, he cut Medusa's hair. The judge might go, oh, okay, well, who wouldn't beat that guy up?
But no, he might be a Marvel fan.
Yeah, he might be a Marvel fan. You go, well, who wouldn't beat that dude up? So stupid. Oh my God! But yeah, you know what? Even no one ever did that to. I don't know if it ever happened in any modern garbagey comics, maybe, but I never even remember even bad guys doing it to her in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
He just didn't do it. Mark infinitely powerfully tired. What's up, man? So anyway, that was pretty stupid.
I recommend it then, Clubby.
Yeah, I'm saying you probably want to give that one a miss. Call me crazy, but I think maybe call me a little intolerant, but you may not want to watch that show. Oh, Purple, things are opening back up. Let's go to a con.
Yes, shall we? Oh my gosh.
You got one coming up? You got any of those coming up over there? I mean, what's going on?
We're not open yet. We were supposed to have been open actually today was supposed to be our big countrywide reopening, and they've pushed it back to the 19th of July
Oh my God.
again. So yeah, it's
Well, you got to come to ClobbyCon. You are, of course, cordially invited.
Tell me about ClobbyCon.
Well, ClobbyCon, everyone, is not my fault. It's Raquel's fault. Oh, and it's probably Pat S's fault, too. Richard Sullivan. Hey, Richard Sullivan, what's up, bro? If you're the Richard Sullivan I think of, almighty one, what's up, man? Good to see you, buddy. Go Browns. If you're the one I'm thinking of, you could be a different Richard Sullivan. I'm not going to judge you. Old BTR buddy, though. Let's see here. I don't exactly know how it got started. But it was one night on Saturday Star Trek and everything. I can't remember precisely. Maybe Pat S probably remembers. But all I know is now it's planned for New Orleans. Now, of course, us basically just getting together and as many wonderful friends as possible coming down at some point. Probably it would be definitely. I need all kinds of time, to get ready for it and all that kind of stuff. About a year or so. Everybody coming down just to New Orleans, just running around, hanging out, and specifically one of the festivities will be bringing Raquel to flea markets and places like and used bookstores and things like that. Zach, what's up? Because she says she doesn't have any of those up there where she is.
Really? Oh.
And you love those? Oh, I love them. Well, our buddy Ironcaster, did you pop in, man? Ironcaster, I think he may have. Hey, bro, if you popped in there, I think he may have. Somebody else glanced him. Our buddy Ironcaster showed some pics last week on the Global Geek Gang where he went to this place called a quote unquote a vintage shop, which I guess is similar to some people call them swap meets, or some people call them flea markets, different things. It's something along those lines. They had a comic shop or a bunch of comics in one of them. Yeah, this wasn't a thrift store though. It's a little bit different from that. I think they have little shops in there.
Oh,
yeah, there he
okay.
is. Oh, we love thrift stores now. We got those too. I'm sure you got them as well. And they're fun to go to, or can be, depending on where you go. And that's one of the many festivities we'll all get around. Of course, another one is she wants to eat all this Cajun food in New Orleans that I won't be eating because I'm the only one in New Orleans doesn't eat any of that crap. Yeah, like Pat S said, Raquel wants to meet everyone and eat seafood. And of course, you and Loki and any of our wonderful friends are invited. Everyone will have advance notice, and I don't know, whatever it happens. They keep saying ClobbyCon. I'm like, look, I'm game. I might even show up. Who knows if I'm not busy? No, when in the days of, well, I hate to use the word normality, but trip to New Orleans for ClobbyCon and have a sandwich. Yeah, Mark. Oh, Mark, you live too close to have an excuse to get out of ClobbyCon, dude. You're coming, and you don't have a choice. And I'm going to drag that Mexican. By the way, he doesn't know yet. Mexican Iron Man's ass is going to be here too, even though he lives farther away because he just got to. It's the way it is. It's a long way away though. So, when in the days of normality, Purple, what, did you go? Have you been to a lot of cons? Were you someone was a regular con goer?
I used to be, absolutely. I used to love going to conventions. We used to have them in the city where I lived. There used to be a really big one. I used to go to the Comic-Con in London, which they did twice a year, which were the really huge events. But when I used to go to them, it was like before 2005 when it really kind of blew up. So you could actually get comic books at conventions instead of, just Funko Pops and autographs.
Yes. Sometimes they had all kind of cool tables and stuff.
You used to be able to find some awesome things, yeah. Old toys, vintage toys from the 80s.
Oh God, yeah.
Just used to get some amazing things. And even stuff like the artist alley where you get some really cool prints from cool artists. I love being able to do that.
Oh yeah, well, I love that stuff. By the way, J-Man does mention the point. Yes, that's a good point, J-Man. There is Iconicon. That's of course my retro blasting buddies are doing that in July as a virtual con. Mark, good to see you, Purple, and I'm going to be a part of that. I'm going to be running one of the panels and being sitting on several.
Nice.
That's going to be fun.
That should be awesome.
I'll get all the times and everything together when we get a little bit closer to that, everyone. I will be doing a panel on comic shops of the 80s. That's mine. Then it's kind of funny, Purple. They have me on, let's see, what is it? Oh, a British science fiction panel, which is good because you know how British I am. Well, when it comes to science fiction, I am.
You're an honorary Brit.
I am indeed. You know, I love Doctor Who and Blake Seven and The Prisoner. So, let's see. I'm on that one. I'm on Bond films of the 80s, which is cool. And I'm on Michael, you know, I love you, brother. I can't believe you put me on this one, but I think it's hilarious. And I think he knows why. I mean, I think I know why. He put me on a Return of the Jedi panel. And it's sort of like, remember the scene in the first Avengers film in 2012 when they're on the helicarrier, but they thought it was a submarine for a second? Mm-hmm. And Bruce Banner says they want me inside a gigantic pressurized container.
Yes.
They want me on a Return of the Jedi panel. Because you may know I've kind of had some issues with it. However, the evil and horribleness of the sequel trilogy has actually softened me on it over the years, though.
So now you look at it in a more favorable light. I get you.
Well, yeah, you know what that kind of reminds me of? Speaking of cons there, Purple, is a few years after the filthy Jar Jar Abrams Steino Star Trek A Name Only trash for 2009, a lady friend that knew me from cons and stuff was put on a con committee to run somewhere on the Gulf Coast, I believe. I won't name the con. Was put in, you know, setting up all the panels and everything. And she asked me to run a panel on Star Trek and the new Star. She didn't, for some reason, we had seen each other in a while, and she didn't know who she was talking to. She knew me, but she asked me to do it, and I said, "Wait a minute." I thought she was kidding me at first. Someone had got hold to her and said, "Hey, you gotta ask." Well, we'll say the word Cloppy. If he should do a Star Trek panel, you know, laughing at it. That'd be funny. Mess with him. Now she didn't know. That and a Doctor Who panel. But she wanted me to do a Doctor Who panel. She wanted me and run a panel on the Jar Jar Abrams Star Trek movie.
Wow.
Which is my whole channel started to combat that filth.
I mean, you could have done it, but it probably wouldn't have been the panel she expected.
Which is why, because we're friends, I told her up front. I said, "Are you sure?" She said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Do you like that movie?" She said, "No. But, you know, we're going to have no, but, you know, we talked, and I told her about the channel at the BTR show at the time. I told her about, you know, this was a couple of years out from it.
Mm-hmm.
Only a couple of years, though. And I told her what I think of it. I said, but I'll do it, but I didn't really want to do it, by the way. I'll do it. And when I told her that, she was like, "Oh, okay." And I never heard back from her on that one. And to be honest,
turn her off.
Yeah, and you know what? Good, because I did not want to do it. I really did not want to do it.
I can kind of picture it now. You're just an hour and a half of raging and just silence from the audience because they were expecting, you know, to sing its praises.
Yeah, they were probably expecting someone to be at least fair-minded about it, but I'm not. Yeah, no, I'm totally unfair about it. I'm totally biased about it. I hate it. And again, I hate it to the point where anybody actually says something, because this is something you hear from a lot of people now. By the way, people that I dearly love, your Muslim uncle, good to see you, bud. So it doesn't mean I'm trashing the person, just so you'll know, Purple. But I do hear sometimes people who admit that they hate the bad reboot filth.
Mm-hmm.
will start their sentence this way after they rightfully hate STD, they rightfully hate P hard, they rightfully hate lower decks, whatever, and they'll go, I thought I kind of liked the 2009 movie for what. And by the way, if you like that, around here we're strictly you like whatever you want to like. I'm just saying, I don't get it. And by the way, same with you, Purple. If you like it, fine. Whoever likes it's fine. Other than joking around with you, I'm okay. I'm just saying I don't understand that. How you start out saying that and then you don't like any of the other stuff.
Yes, since that
I
was
hate that movie.
Cause of them. Exactly. Yeah. That's where we got the damn Kelvin timeline from.
Yeah, and not only that, even that movie. I mean, if you think it's less stupid than Into Dumbness, well, I mean, what isn't? But the Into Dumbness, it's almost, at least it's funny. It's so bad. It still dumbed down Star Trek and screwed with the timeline. And, I don't know how anyone thinks that movie's not just as dumb as Into Dumbness. Red Matter? What is Red Matter? What does it do? Well, whatever you answer, whatever you want. It can let your ship go back in time. It can go forward in time. It can blow up a planet. Red Matter can do it all.
So it's a MacGuffin then, yeah.
Yes. Well, it's a total MacGuffin, and it's stupid. It is so anti-Trek science. And again, it trashes those characters, so I hate it. Now again.
Until STD came along and then said, hold my beer. Yeah.
Indeed. Well, to be honest with you, as much as I hate Into Dumbness, I won't go into now why I actually have a slight fondness for it. Should I? No, we would detract too much. Very basically, it pissed off all the people who defended the first one. That's why I kind of laugh at it. Is that kind of put it in a nutshell? Because everyone who whined about, who liked the first one and whined about, said they better not trash Khan in the next one. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's okay to destroy the whole crew, but Khan's sacrosanct somehow.
Oh, so you mean Khan, who wasn't supposed to be Khan, but everybody knew was actually Khan? Yeah.
Yeah, well, everyone knew it. Well, see, there's the thing. As much as I can't stand that first movie, he actually he cast them to at least trying to make them sort of look like the crew, even though they don't really. But then he realized, since he kept lying for like 3 years before he started casting the second movie, that he wasn't going to use Khan. Then if he casts an actor that's anywhere close to looking like Ricardo Montalban, then he's busted as a liar. So at least when he cast skinny Benedict Cumberbatch, I was like, oh, maybe he isn't Khan. Because what kind of dumbass would cast that guy as Khan?
Well, we have our answer.
Yes. Even I was giving Jar Jar Abrams the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, well, doesn't even look. I mean, they didn't even, because you know what I'm saying? I mean, the other guys at least sort of look like they're trying to look some sort of similarity to the original. Yeah. I mean, they're not doppelgangers, but you see what I'm saying, right? So you would cast, if you wanted a guy to really, get somewhere close to the Ricardo Montalban type, you wouldn't cast good old Benedict Cumberbatch. You might like it and everything. So you cast him and go, well, okay, I guess he ain't Khan. And then, like about 6 months before it came out, everyone kept saying, he's Khan. No, he's not. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. 3 weeks before that piece of crap movie came out, I think it played in Australia before we got it here. So a friend from there who went to the premiere told me, right before I talked to him, Wikipedia actually released the quote. I hate to use the word plot or story for this movie, but you know what I mean.
What happened? Yeah.
Yeah, what happened? What transpires on the screen that you're destroying your eyes by looking at?
Plot is a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit too much. And I remember reading it, and I went, "This is the same." By the way, the same thing happened in 2009 before that came out. 3 weeks before, I'm reading this plot, quote unquote plot, and in 2009, this was a repeat. In 2009, I read that, and I go, "Oh, this is pretty funny." They didn't film that. I mean, in 2009, I looked at that, what they were playing. I go, this is no one. Red Matter, Spock coming back, Nero. Okay, this is a joke. Someone put this up there as a goof. Nobody would be stupid enough to film that. That's how naive I was in 2009. And then, but 3 weeks before the movie, 3 weeks before the movie came out, a buddy who saw it in Australia, that was internet friends with, said, "Yeah, that's true." I said, "Wait a minute." You said that. Wait a minute. The thing we read about that really happens in the movie? Yeah, that's accurate. I'm like, wait, somebody filmed that? That really? Well, it happened again in 2013.
I've got to ask, did you go and see these films in the cinema just to see with your own eyes, or did you wait for them to, be on DVD or on streaming before you saw them?
Well, because I started my channel to go after the 09 filth in April of 09, I would not give a dime to them, and I would not walk into a theater because I have health concerns. I just can't with my blood pressure problems. So we downloaded a copy the day it came out. Yes, we went arg with it, folks, and I don't care. I've spent enough money on Star Trek. Those bitches owe me if they're going to screw my Star Trek over. So both times, I did that on the very day that it released in theaters. And my buddy Minimus, who's in the chat, Claude's there, we both sat there and watched it. I remember when we sat there and watched the 09 one.
Mm-hmm.
The whole time our mouths were agape. We're sitting there going, I cannot believe this. I can't believe they're calling this filth Star Trek. This is garbage. We were just horrified. In 2013, my response was different. We're sitting there, and there are a couple scenes that I've almost fallen off the couch laughing. It's so laughably bad. And I think there are 2 times when he says, "My name is Khan." I went, I almost had a heart attack laughing, but it got worse. When Spock Boy yells Khan, I cried laughing for so long. I wasn't mad. My anger was gone. This was 4 years. I was laughing so much. I could not. I said, I can't believe they did that. It's funny. I think you watch that movie. I can't be mad at the dumbness. It's so funny that he just said, screw it. I can dumb down Star Trek and people bought into it and went to see it in 09. I can make it even stupider or as stupid. And people look, it's like he's standing next to his buddies going, watch how moronic I can make this and call it Star Trek. And people will go watch it. But it didn't happen with 13. In 2013, it did not do that well.
Yes, I remember when the film came out, but nobody was talking about it.
No. But all of a sudden, I figured, here we go. Everyone's going to start defending it because I watched it first day, and everyone was mad, pissed off. People who defended the 09 one to their dying breath, who eventually even said, yeah, we know it's not Star Trek, but I like it, were angry at 13. I said, wait a minute, you're angry now? I got nothing for you. I love you. I'd take a bullet for you, but I got nothing. You're angry now? Where were you in 09 when I was the only one screaming? Well, not only, there were a few of us. Where were you in 09 when they bastardized and trashed Star Trek?
So since we're talking about Star Trek, have you ever been to the Star Trek specific conventions? Because I've been to a couple, and there's a definite split between the old school fans who love the TV shows and the movies, and then everything that came from JJ beyond.
I've been to some Trek cons throughout the course of my life. Some Trek specific cons, and other ones that just had Trek stuff at them. I think now we're at a point where most people just admit that that's not Star Trek. But yeah, early on though, after that crap came out, you'd see a little bit of it. But remember, the Jar Jar Abrams garbage never got merchandise that much.
No, it didn't. The only thing that ever got pushed, obviously, at the conventions were the actors and actresses, and even then, there was a big difference between the lines for people from if any of the captains were there or any of the really famous, popular characters, actors. Whereas you get somebody from STD, for example, and there's like 3 people maybe waiting to see them.
Yeah. Nobody buys anything from it. What little there was, remember Jar Jar Abrams was pissed off that he wasn't able to shut down production of anything, produced for the Real Trek universe, so he could capitalize on and exclusively market his turd. But the thing is, as dumb as CBS is, they didn't allow that, and Paramount, the big Paramount, even as dumb as they are, they realize no one's buying this crap because no one cares. So at cons, there was a little of it, but I didn't see, I saw, once in a while you'd see someone like they went to Party City and bought one of these Trek shirts or whatever, and there was those crappy ones from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Once in a while, but for the most part, I didn't see a whole lot of people cosplaying it. If that's what you're asking, or people representing it, it happened. There was stuff here and there. Hey, Dad, man, blocking, dude. Look, whatever you do. Remember at the outset, and people don't hear this sometimes. I said, I'm only giving you my take on it. You can like whatever you want to like, bud, and we appreciate you. To me, it's filth, as Raquel likes it. She loves it to call it filth so much. She says, we don't talk about the filth here. Well, I just talked about the filth. She'd be mad at me probably for talking about the filth tonight, by the way. Captain Hipster Spock and Edie Myers, hey there. Yeah, she'd be probably mad at me for even talking about the filth. She doesn't even like talking about it. But I can't help it. That's kind of a thing I do, But, yeah, people can like whatever they want to like, buddy. I might tease you about it. I might tease each other about it, but you can tease me about it, too. It's cool.
And Snowder Pooper says he hasn't been to cons for a while. Which era is the most popular for cosplayers? The one that I see the most popular is, at least for ladies, it's the original series because everyone loves the miniskirts.
Oh, yeah. I tell you, I've been at many. Dragon Con is one of the biggest cons in this country. 2 or 3, in the top 2, 3, or 4, whatever. It's every Labor Day weekend in Atlanta until this past year. And from somewhere in the mid or early 90s up until around 2017, other than 1 year, I think I went every year, like 20-something years straight. And one was because of the hurricane, I didn't go. And it's huge. It was like 5, 6, 7 hotels or whatever, and a gigantic, monstrous convention center. And at the Marriott is where a lot of the cosplayers get together for the night parties and everything. But the whole con is really cosplay centric. Really, obviously there are other things, but it's one of the biggest for cosplay as well. So you see everything there. There's even at the Hilton. There's like this atrium at the Hilton where all the cosplayers, like on Friday, go. Many of the really serious ones all go, so they stand out there just so people can go take their pictures. Now you can take their pictures anywhere, but it's really crowded in the corridors. It's, passing through all the different malls and shops and hotels that are on the street, which are packed to the gills in that weekend. Because not only is there, Dragon Con, there are about 4 or 5 other huge events that weekend. There are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people down there.
Oh, I'd love to do Dragon Con. That's one of the ones that I'd really, really love to experience.
You'd have fun. And I've seen every Trek costume known to and again, it's funny because you mentioned I can't really think of nothing sticks out as far as the new filth, but I would see Green Orion slave girls, many, many different lovely ladies in the original series. Of course, every other series is represented, just like Doctor Who. For the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who, they had a big 50th anniversary ball at one of the I think at the Hyatt or the Marriott. I forget maybe the Marriott. And I went there. And you would not believe the Doctor Who cosplay there. Because, again, this con has hundreds, I don't know, what is it, 100,000 or more attendance, whatever it is, it's crazy. And you would not have, the Doctor Who cosplay there, it's always big, by the way. But at that one, with Doctor Who, was still had an audience and mattered to people, because it was 2013. I went to that ball, and it was just phenomenal. They had this one group of folks cosplaying the Vashta Narada, like the spacesuits with the ones that had been killed by the Vashta Narada. There were skeletons.
Oh, nice. Yes.
they had some ladies that were there as the Sisterhood of Karn, and this was before they showed that Night of the Doctor thing with Paul McGann, so they had to do these costumes based on the episode Brain of Morbius, the old Tom Baker episode. And I remember walking up to him and I couldn't believe it. It looked just like it. And I started talking to him, and they said, "Wow, you're the only one. You're one of like 3 people that notice what we're from, because everyone loves the new show so much," which is fine, but no one knew that we're the Sisterhood of Karn hardly. And I said, "Really? Why not? Brain of Morbius is a classic." And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There were so many really elaborate costumes there. Every Doctor, of course, it's, and of course K9. A couple of people, different people had K9, and Daleks, many different Daleks, Cybermen. It was just also from the episode End of the World, the bitchy trampoline. What was her name?
Cassandra.
Cassandra, yeah, it was a Cassandra with the Ninth Doctor.
Bitchy trampoline.
Yeah, the bitchy trampoline. Oh, yep. So yeah, there was. Oh man. Oh, the funniest thing that happened to me at that one was there was a guy that was, poor dude. I feel bad for. He was cosplaying Vincent Van Gogh from Vincent of the Doctor episode, right?
Good episode.
I'm such an idiot. When he walked up to me, now I don't know if any of you are familiar with the great show Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And remember Manos, the Hands of Fate?
Yep.
Torgo. I am Torgo. The guy Torgo from that one. I thought he was Torgo. I'm an idiot because he walked up and I made a Torgo joke to him. He said, "You're the 4th person that said that to me. Who the hell's that?" He said, "No one will explain it to me." Because they all felt embarrassed, I think, because they said Torgo when he was supposed to be Vincent Van Gogh. He looked like Torgo. So I explained it to him. I felt like a jerk off. I'm like, oh crap. Torgo. He did. I mean, I know he was supposed to be Vincent, but yeah, that was a good episode and all that stuff. But I just didn't even though it was a Doctor Who dance, it made sense that costume would be there. Everybody just thought Torgo. Manos, the Hands of Fate. Oh, you wouldn't believe some of the costumes I've seen at Dragon Con, by the way. You would not believe them.
Good or bad?
I'm talking about amazing, brilliant, and clever. Obviously, they're you see bad ones anywhere. I'm talking about. I got to find the picture to send you. One guy cosplaying Galactus, and it looked perfect. And he had a little bitty teensy weensy Silver Surfer connected to his shoulder, sticking out from his shoulder.
I think you've told me about that. Yeah, it was on a wire or something.
Yes, I found that picture. So I'm saying, I think I found that picture. I have a blurry picture of it somewhere.
Oh my gosh.
Obviously, some great. I've seen a great Doctor Doom or two.
Mm-hmm. That's actually one I'd like to try myself, but obviously a female version.
Nice. I would love that. There was obviously you name it. I mean, you go out there on the atrium and every genre is out there represented because even the Legion of Superheroes. So I love that. And sometimes you'll bump into somebody with there's another thing, but I guess because this con is so huge, then the variety and the diversity of thought about it is once in a while you'll come across someone with a really obscure character that maybe 5 people know who they are. But I love that. I bumped into a dude dressed like Korchak the Night Stalker. Not too many people knew what the hell he was doing. They just thought he was a guy in a weird blue suit, like a seersucker suit. How
happy was he when you?
They always love it when you recognize your costume.
I thought that.
There was a beautiful, lovely redheaded lady who I ran into, and she was cosplaying Thundra.
Really?
Yeah, again, how obscure is that? I haven't even seen her since the Bronze Age. I love Thundra. Of course, she's she's in love with Ben Grimm, even in this rock thing form. And she was kind of not a villain, but like anti-hero type thing and stuff. And she just had an obsession with Ben Grimm and all that stuff. And she later popped him, but she really is not. How popular really is she? I was surprised they did a Marvel Legends figure of her years ago, so I had to get it. So I walked up, and again, I know you think I'm shy, but I do walk up to people. I know you're shocked. And started talking to her about it, and I said, and I had to ask her, like I do something. So how many people even recognize the Thunder? And she's kind of, well, you and me, I think one other guy. Maybe I was like, aw. But that's cool. I love that though.
That's really sweet.
The weirdest one though?
What's the weirdest one?
Or the one that got me, that floored me was it was one of the last years I went. I've told you about Fingerless Batman, right? Bill Finger. Have you seen that Fingerless Batman?
Yep, I've seen that.
Well, I guess it's the red costume based on the dimension, with Batman. If Bob Kane, only if Bill Finger had nothing to do with Batman thing. You've seen that, right? I've showed it to you before.
Yeah, you showed it to me, yeah. Yeah,
well, this guy was cosplaying that at the con. I was early at the con. I walked around and said, "Oh, dude." I stopped him and started talking about it. And I said, "Does anyone?" He had made this little sign so he could kind of tell people who he is. I mean, you have to explain this costume to people. He couldn't believe I'd seen it. I said, "Well, dude, this is too great." But he did it. You got to give him credit for that.
How did it look?
It was good.
It was good.
There's another thing. These people spend a lot of time on these costumes. On one Saturday night at Dragon Con, I went down into the big party, and they had a bunch of people in action figure boxes, gigantic life-size action figure boxes. They'd all gone to the trouble to make a gigantic prop. There was a good God, 6 different action figure boxes where a human being could fit in it now for different action, like Mego action figures of different cartoon characters from Saturday morning cartoons.
That's insane. Makes you wonder how they managed to transport these sort of things.
They had to do it piece by piece, I guess. It was incredible. It was incredible.
So, Clobby, I've got to ask, since we're talking cosplay, have you ever cosplayed yourself?
One time.
Really?
I haven't told you about that?
No. Well, why am I just finding out?
I'm not going to show anyone a picture because I don't have it on me. I will show it one day, I guess. First of all, it was about 20 people smaller than I am now. But it was 1986. I might be, and how do I quantify this? Because I might be the first person on planet Earth to cosplay Rorschach from Watchmen.
Nice.
It was Dallas Fantasy Fair, 1986. Only 2 issues of Watchmen came out at that point. I mean, in other words, it was, of course, a 12-issue maxi series before it became a, people keep inaccurately using the term graphic novel. Mm-hmm. So I made the costume, and my friend Claude, who is here, who is Metimus, he made. I don't know if you've read Watchmen. Have you read Watchmen?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, in the first issue of Watchmen, they're talking about Dan Dreberg and Laurie Jespezek are talking about a guy named whatever happened to that guy, Captain Carnage. The guy used to dress up like a supervillain, but he wasn't, just to get people to beat him up.
The one that ended up getting dropped down the
elevator. He said, she said, whatever happened to that guy? She said, well, he tried it on Rorschach and he dropped him down the elevator shaft. So we never see him. They just mention him. So he made up a Captain Carnage costume, and we went in front of the audience, and he did a performance shtick, basically as John Lovitz as that character from the liar from Saturday Night Live. He did, and the audience was laughing their ass off. He's a good comedian. He's good, and I was just there to just say Herm like Rorschach and break his fingers and stuff. And we won the costume contest.
Nice.
We didn't get much. Free passes to a movie we weren't going to be able to go see because it was in Dallas, and we had to go home the next week. But that was 2 issues into Watchmen, so I could be the first person who ever cosplayed Rorschach.
Oh, that is cool. If you've got pictures, I need to see pictures.
I will send you the picture. I'll find it somewhere and send it. There's a picture. There's at least one of me and him. I was a Watchmen freak.
Yes, you've said that in the past. You said that anything Watchmen that you could find at one point.
You've seen my Watchmen collection, probably. I mean, I've showed it. So
yeah.
I collected. Back then, there wasn't a million. Back then, back then there wasn't a million things coming out. It was just some stuff. So, yeah, but I was a freak for it. One Well, what's the coolest costume you ever saw when you were out?
Um, wow, I've seen a lot of really cool costumes. I saw one that was really intricate that somebody did of Mr. Sinister, who you don't see very often.
Wow.
That was pretty awesome. Um, Obviously lots of fantastic Star Wars costumes you get to see. I'd always love to see if we're at this Star Trek convention, I like to see the Orion slave girls because
Nice.
it's always getting to that, and then it always looked fantastic.
Love it. Oh yeah, I love those. You know, one year at one of the hotels at Dragon, and this kind of thing happens at Dragon Con. You're just walking through a hotel, and all of a sudden we're walking in one of them, the Westin or whatever, and a bunch of aliens from the movie Alien and a bunch of Marines from the Space Marines from Aliens invaded the lobby and did it like a big battle scene, and everybody just watched it. That kind of stuff happens at Dragon Con in the hotels, and sometimes those hotels you can barely walk. In certain places, it's so crowded. And Saturday morning of Dragon Con, there's the parade. I don't know if you know about that.
Yes, I've heard about that. I've seen parades at other conventions, especially if the Five are first are there. So they always kind of lead it, and then the cosplayers follow on behind. That's always kind of cool to see.
Yes, and people drive vehicles like they have the Mach Speed Breakers, Macer's Mach 5, of course, the Batmobile, and all these geek vehicles, and the Ghostbusters car, and all that kind of stuff. And it's again, you can't really go anywhere when in the morning on Saturday morning when that's taking up the streets, the Peachtree, going through downtown Atlanta. You can't get anywhere really. You can't get across the street. That's for sure. It's just gigantic. What a crowd.
Have you ever been to the huge conventions like the Comic Cons? Now you say you've done Dragon Con many times. Is that the biggest convention you've been to?
That would be the biggest I've ever been to. I've never gone to. I think the only two bigger are San Diego and New York. If New York might be bigger. I don't know. There may not be one bigger than other than those two. And no, I've never been. I've always kind of wanted to go there. It's kind of funny. There was a time I really wanted to go to San Diego, but that was when most of the great comics greats were alive because they do a lot of stuff about comics, and they used to have everybody there. Jack Kirby actually kind of started that. Helped start that con. He was one of the influencers of it. Now, from what I hear, now it doesn't mean I wouldn't go if I ever got a chance. From what I hear now, mostly San Diego is just a big commercial for all the new stuff coming out, and you know how I am about new stuff. Not that I wouldn't go if I could, but it's just it's not the same anymore. I hear that vendors don't even do that well at that one anymore. So
yeah, the one in London's tended to go kind of that way. I'm not sure what it's like now, obviously, because it's been a couple of years since they've done one, but it got to the point where it was all about whatever the newest, biggest film was. That's what they were promoting.
Yep.
And be kind of actors from TV and that sort of thing down the line.
It's pretty much what it is now. That's kind of why I like the smaller cons, to be honest with you now. I mean, I've been to some pretty big ones. Nothing like Atlanta being the biggest, Dallas Fantasy Fair, and Atlanta Fantasy Fair also in the early, in the late 80s and early. Let's see, before Dragon Con in Atlanta, I went to Dallas Fantasy Fair a few times, which was pretty big in the 80s. Then Atlanta Fantasy Fair, before later kind of sort of morphed into Dragon Con, maybe a little bit. I don't know if it got absorbed, but because it's Dallas where I first got to meet Jack Kirby. Then it was Atlanta Fantasy Fair in 1990 where I got to meet him again and spend a lot of time with him and stuff. Before that, there were a couple of Atlanta cons that had Next Generation people in it, some of the big names there. Those are as big as it gets for me, although there was one year, because down here we were getting Wizard World Con for a while, which has big celebrities, but it's not that great. But back in the 80s, we actually got World Con one time. That's back when that was a thing in New Orleans. And I got to go to the Hugo Awards.
What was that like?
It was snotty.
Really?
The presenters of the Hugo Awards back then, bear in mind, this is the mid-'80s when people still did actually read science fiction. And there was sort of a snobby subset of science fiction people who thought it needed science fiction was really only valid if it were in prose fiction and print. And if you read, I mean, if you watch, they would kind of. I mean, I'm sure that some of them like TV and movies, but for the most part, they didn't want that involved in the Hugos. Even though Star Trek won a Hugo, stuff like that, they would kind of. And we went because Watchmen had won a Hugo, but because there was no set category for it, they put it in the nonfiction category. And I'm going, because we all know Watchmen really happened.
I remember, yeah.
And I remember sitting there. I think Minimus was with me, and some other friends. When they announced Watchmen, there were some people all sitting around saying, "What is that?" And some other people made cracks like comic book. Yeah, eat it. This was 86, 87, something like that. But anyway, it was kind of. But yeah, I guess what I took away from that is there was a lot of. Now the Yugos are destroyed, and that's a long story. We won't go into here. They're nothing. They're meaningless. They have no credibility anymore. But back then they were pretty big.
Sounds like every other awards show.
Yes, you're right, exactly. But I thought that was kind of a cool thing to get to go to the Hugos. Like that's huge. That's huge.
That is cool.
Fun. But now, yes, nothing. Yeah. And I don't think we ever got Worldcon again.
Yeah, Worldcon, if I'm remembering correctly, is that the one that kind of moves around each time? It's never in one set city?
Yes.
It's kind of like they have to bid for it or vie for it.
Yes, at least in the. I don't know if that's still the case, but yes, that's pretty much what it was back then. So, but I got to tell you, I have more fun at the smaller cons, like the one there. One I'm going to this weekend, for example, it's called in a place called Slidell, which is not that far from New Orleans. It's a one-day con, $10 to get in, whatever it is. It's on a Saturday. It's and they're usually there's one there and another city not close by that are at two disparate times a year. So a lot of my buddies from the Gulf Coast that I only get to see once or twice a year, we all get together. They're hardcore comics collectors and super ridiculous geeks that I've known in some cases 30 years, 35 years, just known them forever. And we don't get to see each other that much. We talk as much as we can, but so that's those 2 times of the year until now, because we haven't seen each other since I believe February of 2020. This is the first time we'll be seeing each other since then, is that we would just get together. The con's not huge. There's a few tables here and there, and it's fun because you see it's home. So we see tons of people that we're friends with that we know that we only get to see every now and then because life, gets in the way. And so we get to hang out and just completely geek out. They're hardcore collectors, so they go through all the different boxes. They buy, buy a bunch of, both of them buy a bunch of different back issues. I can't collect like I used to, but I like to grab a few things here and there. I love when these tables at these cons that have, when they have them, like cheap trades and cheap hardcovers and stuff. That's the thing I love to get.
Love to go hunting.
Oh, love to go hunting for those. And so and then we'll get together, hang out at the con throughout the course of the day, then get together and go hit a couple comic shops around the area, what have you, and then go get dinner and boom, that's it. Nothing, not the biggest of deal, but we all love to see each other, get to hang out and cut up and have a good time for one day thing. And it's not like you went on a major road trip, spend a lot of money, stayed at a hotel. It's a pretty cheap day, and it's more fun than a con that you drive to, that you spend 5 days away, all the expense and everything of a long road trip. It's pretty easy. It's only like an hour and a half from where I live. We meet halfway. It's like us meeting halfway. I've been having more fun at those over the past couple of years than I was having at Dragon Con, to be honest. But I was still going to Dragon Con because I love my retroblasting buddies, Michael and Linda, and I wanted to go hang with them once a year, and that's one of the biggest reasons I was doing it. And I had another friend of mine that went with me because she wanted to cosplay her new Wonder Woman Gal Gadot costume, so we went that last time, and she looked great in it. And, she announced the last year that my friend and I did that. But other than that, I never had much of a reason to go to Dragon Con. Again, and I kept going to see friends. Now, don't get me wrong. If you haven't been, you should go if you can. And if you ever went, and any of you friends from YouTube ever went, I would definitely go. But I would be going to see you and hang with, because I've done everything there is to do there. But if you haven't, you'd have a wonderful time.
Social thing, yeah, absolutely.
One of my favorite things to do at Dragon Con is to sit in the lobby of the Marriott and people watch, costume watch. You'd love it. and Melinda Wetterblasting. That's how we met. Back in 2011. That's how I met both of them. And she and I, we that's became our bench, and we would go sit there in the lobby and goof. Yeah, so we're evil because we would goof on things, goof on people walking by. We're mean, not too mean, though, just a little bit. We would have a good time goofing around, joking about some costumes and going, "Wow, that's a good one there. Well, you got to admit that one." And then sometimes going, "I don't know what that one is." It's a good costume, but I don't know what that is. Because who can know them all?
Yes, I mean, combined knowledge, I guess you'd be able to, pin down most of them, but some of them are so obscure, as you say.
Yes. I think it's called Showcase, Pat S. It's Slidell this weekend, bro. If you can go there, man, holler at me. You can come hook up with the Gulf Coast gang, buddy. We'd love to see you.
Oh, that would be cool.
It would be. It's like I say, it's a one dayer. I gotta scoot back to be back for Trek night that night with Raquel. So, but so go ahead.
When you go to the cons, you say you look for stuff. Is there anything in particular that you have in mind, or is it just that you just look and hope that you find something, some treasure?
Sometimes it's different. Like my hardcore collector friends who are still completing, just getting it, just consuming everything in sight. They don't look at anything for particular so much, but anything that they can find a good deal on. For me, because I'm trying to be somewhat conservative on what I spend, my big thing now is to kind of look for if there's a table with cheap trade paperbacks. Although, those, I don't know if you're familiar with those IDW artist editions. I love those things. Yeah, well, last time I was at a con, or maybe it was the one before it. I was not supposed to be spending money, but my God, they had the Jack Kirby Thor Artist Edition.
Oh,
I had
nice.
to, and I was able to get a decent price on it. It was between that or the Joe Kubert Tarzan Artist Edition. I love that one too, but I went with the Kirby. It's the Kirby. You know what I missed from cons though? By the way, interestingly enough.
What's that?
And that's a good question I had for you about that, because I don't know if it goes the same deal. Up until about a couple of years ago, cons, whether it was Wizard, whether it was Dragon Con, or what have you, always had these tables of these guys, gigantic tables filled with bootleg DVDs.
Oh, yes.
And I don't mean everything just pirated, things that they recorded, obscure shows that have not been put out on DVD as well. Yes, some of it's pirated stuff. They're gone now. Did you all have things like that?
We did. We did used to have those. Yeah, absolutely. That's what actually I got the Corman film from.
Oh yeah, that's everybody. Yeah. Oh, that's a big one there. But I mean, really obscure stuff too. If there was something, a show you liked, or something you'd heard about that you never got to see, you go at the next con. I'm going to go to the guy with the bootleg table, and they would have it usually.
Yes.
I mean, no matter
wouldn't be great quality, but they'd have it.
Yeah. And sometimes it was a good call, sometimes it wasn't. They had a guy that used to go to Atlanta and New Orleans, and I would, we used to get stuff from him all the time. And like in fact, he was a cool dude. One time I went to the con. I would see him at least twice a year, so I'd get a DVD. Or, I didn't have any way of contacting him, but if it was defective at the next con, like, hey, dude, this was. And I didn't want anything special. I said, could just, this one was got, you had a couple of discs that wouldn't play. And I'm just asking, is there some way we can get you to refix it, or you can send me the disc? He'd just hand me the set that he had. No, just take this one, man. Yes. And I go back and it would work. It's pretty cool about it. But I think they've cracked down on it. I don't think you're seeing them at cons anymore.
No, I think they've frowned upon now, and they're pretty much not allowed. Yeah, as Phantom Outsider says.
Well, there you go, Phantom Outsider. Yeah, I think that, and I feel bad for my buddy that he used to get all those boots. We were all guilty of going there, especially Dragon Con or Wizard, the big ones, and hitting that table. Those guys had to do well. I don't know what's happened to them. And it's funny thing. One thing that's kind of weird about Dragon Con, because there's this. They used to have the dealer's room like in the merchants hall thing down in. At a couple different of the hotels that moved all over the different places. Now it's so huge, it's impossible. So they got this thing called, like, quote unquote, an apparel mart. It's like a gigantic convention center that has 4 levels. And one hall is unbelievable. It's gigantic. It's like a big stadium. It's like football fields, but you can still barely walk around in there. So many people, and it's just incredible. And a lot of it, I mean, they sell everything imaginable, but a lot of it, there's like giant sections of, I don't know how to describe it, like baubles or different types of, I want to say clothing or dresses and capes and cloaks and belts and types of
cosplay accessories.
leather.
Yeah,
Well, that too, yes, and leather type outfits. And if you kind of get where I'm coming from, a lot of crazy stuff.
that's probably one of the places I would kind of deviate to.
Oh, you'd love it. I mean, it's fantastic. It's gigantic. Again, since I've never really shopped for that kind of stuff, I wouldn't know. We'll tell you whether they're good prices or not. I think at the last one I was at, Dragon Con, maybe in the last one, I will tell you that I was walking through with my friend Nicole, and we were there because she's the one that she's not cosplaying. She goes to cosplay Wonder Woman. Well, we're walking through there, and I'm wearing my I have one of my Legion of Superhero shirts that has all the Legion insignias on it. And I know I'm bigger than a billboard, I guess. Maybe that's how the guy saw me from I had to be like 100, almost 100 yards away. I'm seeing this guy waving at me. Come over here, come over here, come over here. Like, huh? So he saw my Legion, shirt. He says, "Dude, look at this." And this guy has these customized clocks. Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, all the big stuff, right? But Legion is a niche, I mean, I love it, but it's niche. But sure enough, he had a Legion of Superheroes clock, the big L, and had the insignias for the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Did you get it?
Like this guy targeted me. Well, I will let you answer that question.
I'm thinking that's a yes.
It's hanging up on my wall. Still works too. I loved it. I was like, oh no, I can't be spending. I had to have it, and she knew I had to have it. I said, damn you, sir. Well played. And I carried around that con the whole time. It was big too. Well, not big, but it was kind of awkward. So yes, I got me my Legion clock there, and I wasn't. Oh, man, all the other ones were cool, but a Legion clock, I had to have it.
Something special, and that's what I used to love about the conventions. You could find these, one-off things that somebody had made that you just wouldn't see anywhere else. I mean, you get lots of generic merchandise, books, comics, t-shirts, that kind of thing, but occasionally you could come across something amazing that you'd never seen before, like a handmade prop or something that you just had to have.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, there are tons of deals with props, tons of deals with toys. I mean, all of it's that. I mean, and I'm just saying, this is my experience with that one con. Every con has different deals with different things, but when you have one that big, it's almost all there now, except for the bootlegs, of course. No more bootlegs. Yeah, Dragon Con. Now, some things change. You still find some tables with good deals on. Hey, Golgo 13, good to see you. Golgo 13 is, by the way, a cool manga and anime. I like Golgo 13.
Yes, you've joined me on Friday.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, okay. So I was just wondering how many people see Golgo 13 and haven't seen the anime, don't know it's an anime and a manga.
that would be me.
It's cool. Oh, really? Yeah. It's rare, but I mean, obviously he must be a fan of it if he's got that name. I would think, or would that be an assumption?
No, you're absolutely correct.
It's presumptuous.
No, Brandon is an expert when it comes to anime and manga.
And I know pretty much nothing about it, but my son and daughter, they're huge on it. They love it. But again, I think I'm trying to think some of the stuff. Oh yeah, there was many years back at Dragon Con, there was this table, they don't do it anymore, called Tales of Wonder. And I know everyone who buys old trade paperbacks knows who they are. And they, for a while there, for a few years there, they had this huge setup at Dragon Con. That, I mean, I'm talking trades for $5, Masterworks for $10, and or 10, $15, $20, which is cheap for a Masterworks. Really great prices. And then they kind of stopped going there, but other dealers started following suit. So you can always find a few tables with some pretty cheap trade paperbacks and stuff now, which that's what I kind of gravitate towards when I go to a con.
Yes, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think that as the conventions have gotten more popular and more kind of, I guess you would say, normie, the prices have shot up on a lot of things?
Yeah, I think they probably have. But I've kind of always thought that when it comes to back issues, like really, really old stuff, what you do at a con now, well, what you should do even then, is if you're there to buy certain, props and things, they're going to be high anyway. Toys are pretty high at these cons. If you're buying a toy, it's going to be high probably.
Yes, yeah, especially if it's boxed. If it's just a loose figure, you can pay a couple of pounds for them usually. But anything collectors, yeah, absolutely.
If it's still in the box, a lot of times they're going to be pretty high. I would say that you can get some good deals sometimes. Like the best thing to do if the last day of the con is Sunday, Dragon Con it's Monday, but because it's Labor Day, but you wait till the last day of con. That's the best. If you spot it, you shouldn't buy much on Friday. Let's say, Dragon Con's Thursday through Monday, but let's just use that as an example. Then you shouldn't buy much on the first day. If you see something, a really steal like the cheap trades or something like that, that's fine. They're not going to go down. If it's a back issue somebody's got hanging on their display behind their table, you might be able to talk them down a little bit, but you need to wait till the last day, or the last day you're going to be there. If you can be there the last day when they're packing up, that's the best day to wait to buy back issues of comics and stuff. And sometimes tables too. You can go make an offer if you're so inclined. If there's a toy that you think has a kind of high price, hey man, would you take so much for it? Not always going to work. With back issues, it's a little more. It can work a little bit better than with toys, but you can do that. If it's something that you've got your eye on that's kind of expensive, take a shot at it on the last day and make an offer. That's what I'd say.
I think so. It seems that people are a little bit more willing to let the stuff go. One, because they want to make a sale last minute, and two, they don't want to have to take it home with them.
Yes, yeah, it's fun. It is not a lot of fun packing up to go to a con and then the reloading, unloading it, and all that kind of stuff. And I've worked cons, and it's not. I've worked cons, so it's not a lot of fun. Jack Small Mall, Mark. We love you, dear. Thank you for popping in. It's great to see you. Great to see you. What is the coolest thing, if you can even think of, that you ever got at a con?
Probably for me, I usually go for trade paperbacks. That's what I love to pick up. So like you, I if you can get like either cheap ones or you can get, say, 3 for £10 or something, that kind of thing. Usually they'll do that. If you buy so many, they'll take money off them. But probably the best thing that I ever bought, or at least one of my favorite things, was that signed Freddy Krueger glove.
Oh, wow. Which con was that at? How long ago was that?
That was probably about nearly 10 years ago now. I saw it. It was one of the cons in Birmingham, one of the big ones that we do. And it was just high up on this guy's kind of wall. He had lots of different props around, and it was kind of tucked into the corner. And I got him to take it down, asked him how much it was. It was a little bit more than I was willing to spend, so we kind of did a little bit of back and forth and kind of knocked him down a little bit, and that was it. I took it home with me. I just had to have it.
Oh, that is nice. That is so cool. Now my question would be, it didn't have to be one, it could be a couple. As far as meeting someone at a con, because that's another aspect of a con, of course, is seeing someone that does, whether they're an actor or a writer, artist, whatever, was meeting at a con. You probably have a few. Is there one that sticks out as the best or the most memorable, the one you like the most, as far as your experience with meeting someone whose work you enjoy?
There's been quite a few. I've been quite lucky with people that I've met. I know they say don't meet your heroes, but there's only been a couple that have been a bit to meet. But my absolute favourite person, I know, and it kills me, that is in Star Trek Discovery, it's Doug Jones. I absolutely love Doug Jones. He's just the sweetest guy. He's an absolute treat to meet. I've met him several times. Same with Robert England. He's a wonderful guy to meet.
Whoa, nice.
Funnily enough, the nicest people I've found are people that work in horror movies.
Oh, cool.
Um,
Wow.
and another person that I kind of fangirled over because I think he's awesome was Mads Mikkelsen. So
Oh,
when Doctor Strange came out, he was at one of the conventions with Benedict Cumberbatch, and they were promoting that film. I didn't meet Benedict, but I did meet Matt, and he was a real sweetheart.
he's great. He is great. That is part of the con experience. You can't talk about cons without that aspect of it, meeting people. I'm kind of at the point where there's not really many people I want to meet now, but of course that's different when you're younger, and it's also different when a lot of the greats were around. For me, the comics people, but leaving aside the comics people that I met that I wanted to meet for a minute, I mean, or leaving those aside, the big names, obviously. Getting to meet some of the Doctor Who actors. I didn't get to meet all of them, obviously, but Colin Baker, Nicholas Courtney, Peter Davison twice, Sylvester McCoy, Sophie Aldred a couple times in my life. I love her. And meeting back when I was I still love Firefly. I'm a huge Firefly fan. I met most of the cast, not all of them, but most of them, and they were great. Let's see. As far as like actors and celebrities, those are all the ones I'm trying to think of. But usually most of the ones that I met, I've been lucky with too, as far as they were nice,
Yes, except that I know a lot of people have kind of bad experiences sometimes at cons, but I've never really had that. One of the nicest people that I met was John Hurt. He was a real
Oh,
sweetheart.
wow. Wow. That's cool.
Hmm.
But see, it's funny. Obviously, I love love a lot of these shows and stuff like you do and stuff. So meeting like the big name celebrities was never a big deal to me, but I like a lot of them. So if I'm the ones I met that were nice, that stands out. But when it comes to cons, there were a lot of comic book people that it almost means more to me meeting some of the comic book greats that I've met. Not more. I mean, look, I didn't even meet Shatner at a con. I met him at a World of Wheels. It was like cost $5 to get in. I got to shake hands with him. That was about it. But he's still Shatner, so I didn't get to talk to him or anything. But I met everyone in the original crew but Nimoy, and they were all. It was like very brief, but they were fine, and it was great to meet them. And at least I got to meet them. At least I got to meet a few Doctor Who people. There are a few Blake 7 people I really wish I'd met. I only met a couple of those, but they were nice. Red Dwarf people, a few I got to meet that. They were nice.
Most of the cast of Red Dwarf, they're really nice guys.
That's what I've heard. I think I only got to meet the two Hollies. Or no, was Robert Llewellyn? No, I think I only met the two Hollies. I think at RadCon 1 year. But I can't keep track of all the ones I've met that have been so nice to me. But a lot, usually, for the most part, when you meet them, they are not always. Now, Adam West was fantastic. Like I jokingly say my good close personal friend Adam West, because it wasn't a con at first. When I saw him in 80, buddy of mine went and saw him in 85 at the World of Wheels in Baton Rouge, and he and Burt Ward were in costume. And his costume was purple. And we were the oldest people that looked, the show had not been syndicated for a long time. And a lot of the kids, I don't know they probably didn't even really know who he was. And so, I got him to sign the autograph he did for me to Joe Chill. And he's like, Chill what? And he signs it. And I said, I told him who Joe Chill was because he didn't know. And he wrote to Joe Chill, the evil one. And then he's being jovial, and then because he's doing that all over the place. At that time, he wasn't making a lot of money. Mm-hmm. He wasn't rich by any standards, I don't think. And then Burt Ward, I get him and I try to get him to sign it to Boss Zuko, the guy who killed Robin's parents. I mean, he started arguing with what mean Robin's parents? Wait a minute. And they died in a high wire accident. And I said, yeah. And Boss Zuko put the the acid on the ropes, and he goes, "What acid?" And then in comes Adam West. Goes, "These guys know, pal. Believe me." With that laugh of his. And so I had a little tape recorder. And I got Adam West. I said, "Could you please say your favorite line from the movie, or the '66 movie that they did of the series?" So, and he was forgetting it for a second. And of course, it's the scene. I don't know. You've seen that one. I don't know if you've seen that one, right?
Oh yeah.
Where he says, "Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb." And I started him off, and he kind of goes, "Oh, some days you just can't get rid of a bomb." He did this. Oh God, just I wish I could find that tape. And we went through the line 3 or 4 times. And by the way, Steve Mitchum also went to that.
I would have loved to have met him. There was a con a few years ago where he was supposed to go to, the one in London, and he passed just before the convention took part. I was devastated.
Well, you know what freaked me out was 15 something years later, whatever, in 2000, year 2000, they came to New Orleans at a con. And I'm standing there minding my own business. I was buying a comic from Mark Goddard. Yes, the guy who plays Don West on Lost in Space, because I was a Lost in Space freak. And he was being kind of a putz. And I turn around, I'm walking, and all of a sudden, almost bumping into me, was Adam West walking into the dealer's room. And I was wearing I think I was wearing a Batman shirt. I don't know, something, I guess, with an insignia. I'm not sure. He said, "Oh, excuse me, Sir Bat." And he walked on. And I was like, "Well, that was nice, just being cool, whatever." But then what took the cake was 3 or 4 years later at Dragon Con. There he was again. I walked up to him, and he goes, "Oh, hello there, Sir Bat. How are you doing?" And I wasn't wearing a Batman shirt. So I'm going, I can't believe this. So I just it became my running joke, my good, close, personal friend, Adam West. Because that's my hero. That's what started it all for me. All of my geekness comes from him.
Never heard a bad word about him, though. Everyone who's ever met him said he was an absolute gentleman.
I love him so much. Yeah, as far as obvious people that you don't necessarily know, but you love their work, when they pass, it kind of gets to you, even though you don't know them personally. But you take it like it's someone close to you or whatever. Obviously, there's plenty of people who love their work when we hear their pass. Like, oh, damn, But as far as one that really gutted me, it was that one.
I would have loved to have met Frank Gorshin as well, because I loved his version of the Riddler.
Oh God, he was brilliant. He was brilliant. But there's so many comic book people I've met at cons that's the thing to me. Like the 2 times I got to meet, I know I go on about it all the time, everyone. I'm sorry, but the 2 times I got to meet and spend time with Jack Kirby are the 2 greatest geek experiences of my life.
I have no idea how jealous I am that you met Jack Kirby.
He was, like you were saying about meeting your heroes, that was not one of those instances either. He was every bit the hero, and so was his wonderful wife, Roz. And they have this way of talking to you for a few minutes and making you feel like one of their grandchildren. They do that with everybody. And they were just fantastic. And there are a few other comics greats I was, lucky enough to meet, Gil Kane, and a few others that I really love. But then there are plenty that I never got a chance to meet. I'm going, oh, no. I got to meet John Romita. I got to meet some of my favorites. And then there's some I never got to meet. But because we're talking cons here, it's cons that made all those things happen. Usually, sometimes there were signings here and there, stuff like that. But mostly it's cons,
It is, yeah. It's the big conventions that, really get the chance to meet people that you want to. I'm guessing Alan Moore would be high up on your list if he ever did a convention.
I would love to meet that crazy bastard.
Me too.
I would love to meet that nut. I mean, hello, I'm Alan Moore, and I don't want to meet you, you fat old fool. I don't let Americans say go away. I don't go there anymore. He hasn't been to America since like 85. But I love him. I got to meet Julius Schwartz, the great legendary comic book editor. He was fantastic. But Alan Moore, look, closest I'll ever get to that is I have his autograph on my European Watchmen portfolio. That I had that was autographed. It was no great feat since all of the limited edition is signed by him and Dave Gibbons and John Higgins. But still, I'd love to meet him. I would go to his go to his castle on Olympus and meet him. And he would say, "Just meet you, a fanboy. I don't like Watchmen anymore. Go away."
Yes.
Okay, I can't do Alan Moore. Who can though?
He's disavowed his own comics.
Yeah, but I love him, and I'd love to meet him. Oh yeah.
I would as well. I think he'd be fun to meet. Probably not what you expect, but it would be kind of cool. Would you say with the comic book creators and the artists, were they kind of more personable because they weren't like the big celebrities, so you got to have more time with them?
Yes, I think. Well, maybe not always, but I think that usually they were a little bit more like the. Like some of the celebrities that were from all the British celebrities, like from the British shows, Doctor Who and Blake Seven and things like that, are all the nicest as far as people who were on a show. But yes, usually the comic book people, not all of them. There were some, jackasses, but here and there. But most of them are really nice. Yeah, because they're only treated like, in other words, they can walk around in public and no one knows who they are.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, even some comic book artists. Even some comic book fans hasn't seen a lot of pictures of some of these guys, so couldn't pick them out of a lineup or anything. But even though they could may have loved their comics for 20 years and just don't know what the guy looks like,
Oh, God. I'd love to have something signed by Tim Sale. He's one of my favorite artists.
Oh yeah, Long Halloween. He's got that new They got to do a Long Halloween movie coming out.
Yep, it's out. At least part 1 is.
Yeah, I think it's out. Isn't it out? Somewhere, yeah. Nice. There are, like I said, of course, there's some celebs that are no longer with us that I would love to have met, but there are a lot of, as bad as that is to say, there really, really hurts that there are a couple of comic book artists that I never got to meet. And and there's the thing about that purpose. Almost all of the greatest of the comic book artists and people who worked in the medium are gone. From the golden and silver and bronze age. There's almost nobody left from golden that I can think of. Silver, there are very few, and bronze. Just last week, Neil Adams had his 80th birthday, and he had a bit of a health scare right before that. So he's one of the last, the greats. John Romita Sr. is still with us, I believe. But I got to meet him, but I never got to meet Kurt Swan, my all-time favorite Superman artist. And he did some cons. I never got to meet Joe Sennett, my favorite actor. There are a lot of people that I would just love to meet them. They don't mean as much to everybody else as some actors, but
but to you, yeah, they were.
I'd love to meet Tom Baker though. Oh my God, that'll never happen. He's like Alan Moore. He won't come over here either.
Yes, some of them don't like to travel. I mean, obviously, age is a factor now as well. But yes,
he's so great. What if Tom Baker met Alan Moore? What conversation would that be like? That would be great. Could you imagine those two both talking in like a conversation between them? That'd be fantastic. Oh my goodness.
I've got to ask, I know you've never been a fan of him, but did you meet Stanley?
I've seen it. I've had the opportunity many times at cons, seen him there at cons, and didn't. I did meet John Byrne one time, who our dear departed wonderful friend Mark C was a big fan of his.
Oh,
I used to joke with my friend Mark C. I said, "Dude, you're the biggest John Byrne fan I know, except for Byrne." And I had a chip on my shoulder for Byrne for a long time. In 2000, I think at that same con that I was telling you about with Adam West. Here's the thing about that. Everyone knows how I talk about Stan Lee and John Byrne, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's always some wise guy that I know, because the times I've seen Stan, usually it's been here or whatever, and like a con in New Orleans, whatever it was. And so, smart asses go, "Hey, did you go tell Stanley off?" I've actually had somebody do that to me one time. I'm like, "Yes, I went and insulted an 80-some-odd-year-old man and called him names in front of everybody so I could get beat up and kicked out of the con." Yeah, that's great. No, I didn't. And the same deal with John Byrne. He's a guest. I'm gonna go up there and start a fight with him. I'm gonna go for months building up to that con. Hey, Alonzo, you gotta go. You gonna go tell John Byrne, kick John Byrne's ass, or go tell him off, or go screw with him? I kind of met him years before and kind of showed him some. Well, wasn't very nice to him, but civil because he's a guest of the con. I'm just a customer. I mean, I'm just a guy paid to get in. They'd throw my ass up before they would throw him out.
Mm-hmm.
But a buddy of mine walked up to him. We both hate what he did to Superman and the Superman revamp in '86. I know a lot of you like it out here. We're not litigating that now. I'm just telling the story about that because I don't know if I ever told you that one. I told Mark. And in fact, one buddy of mine went on the Burn Robotics page and asked what's the weirdest thing and so everyone ever, or like most insulting thing anyone ever did at a con or whatever to you or whatever. And he related that story. Well, a buddy of mine, we took Superman #1, not the original from '39, but the one he did. When they renumbered it.
Mm-hmm.
And a friend of mine wrote, "Thanks for destroying a legend" on it.
Wow. And
handed it to him. We both handed it to him. I didn't say a word. I let my friend do it because I know anything I say, I'm gonna get blamed for it. So I handed it to him. And Bird looks at it for a minute, and he looks back up at us. Oh, so basically this is fuck you, isn't it? And we both shook our heads with big stupid smiles on our face. Yeah, and he threw it back. Oh, yeah, go away or whatever. And we just walked off. So, it's immature, yeah, but I'm sorry, I hate what he did to Superman. And so that's a stupid con story that I should be embarrassed by. But the point is, I didn't go up there and insult and call him all kind of names or start a big, fight with him or anything. And I didn't do it with Stanley either. I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Go walk up to Stanley and start an argument with him? I'm just, But I did. I did meet him. Well, not meet him. I walked by him a few times.
Hmm.
And somebody in my group who probably didn't look anything like me or sound like me did say some stuff like Kirby rules or something like that. I don't know.
In passing.
Yeah, but it probably wasn't me. I'm just going to say, everyone. There's a good chance that it probably was not me, even though it
didn't have Quink. Yeah.
Yeah, it probably wasn't me at all, everyone. I'm just saying, so I want you to, yeah, okay, who do you think it was? But I behaved. Could you call that behaving? I didn't go do anything bad. I mean, John Byrne was at least a little bit closer to my age. Well, not much closer. Yeah, so. Now, the cons you've been to, did they ever, I mean, because I don't know, did they ever have a lot of comics people as far as like comics? Stuff too, or mostly like science fiction cons and things like that?
Mostly science fiction and TV, usually. I mean, the ones that we do, we never really had the really big kind of comic book pros because it wasn't really something that kind of took off over here. I mean, Stanley came a couple of times, I think, but I never got to meet him because the line for him was always ridiculous. So it just wasn't worth queuing in. But we do a lot of the kind of smaller artists, but it's not people that I would really recognize off the top of my head.
Yeah. But a lot of them did go to those cons over there though as well. So yeah.
Used to have a lot of the 2000 AD guys, obviously.
Oh wow, I love 2000 AD. Well, loved it back then. They still make it?
I think it's still running. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Love it.
It's probably not now that I said yeah, it's still running. I'd have to check.
Probably are. I mean, probably is. Yeah, that's true, Phantom Outsider. If he heard me say it, he probably was like, Jack is the king. I should know. I created him. I remember when I created cons. And then I said, let's see old Jackson draw this one. But, do you...
Sorry, I just saw Claude's comments.
Oh, let's see. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Well, he was probably there.
It happens.
I don't know who's blaming me for it. Well, Claude's he's the jackass that airbrushed the T-shirts that I used to insult Byrne with.
You had T-shirts.
In the early, he airbrushed T-shirts, and in the early aughts, in the early '90s, actually '92 or whatever, went to this con. There was again. I'm telling on you. John Burns going to hear this and really kick your ass. He he had he put he airbrushed a brick wall, right, and he had the thing standing up behind the brick wall. He can explain it better than me. And John Burns standing in front of the thing, doing a double take, drawing a picture of the thing standing behind him or whatever. And the thing is saying originality paging John. He also did a tombstone on a shirt that said Superman, rest in peace, 1938 through 1986, murdered. Yeah. And some jackass who might have been me, I can neither confirm or deny, walked in front of him with it and stood right in front of him for about a minute or two just to make it and let him look at it. And he just gave me a look. And then with both different shirts, and Julius Schwartz, the famous editor of Superman at the time for all those years, DC Comics, when I showed him the Superman one, he laughed. He said, "Did you show that to Bane?" I said, "I don't think he liked it much." I mean, someone maybe being me who looks sort of like me, but probably may have said that and did that.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. It could have been totally someone else, not me at all. Look, we were stupid. Well, I mean, okay, yeah, we're a little too old to be doing crap like that, but we're still young by comparison to today.
See, now I want to go to a convention with you, Clobby, just to do stupid stuff.
Oh, I would love that, but I'd behave. I promise. I probably, wouldn't do anything to cause any trouble, or anything at all, as far as I know. I say probably, because sometimes you don't even mean to. You just start a conversation and somebody's pissed off at you for. Well, now that happens on. You don't have to do that at cons. It happens online, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's definitely very easy to upset people nowadays without trying.
Absolutely. John Byrne was the greatest artist, writer, inker of all time. Just ask him. That's all right, Steve. We love you when you're wrong, bro. He likes Byrne. Look, I'm in the minority. Most people like that Byrne reboot. I just hate it, and that's just too bad. If you didn't like Superman before Byrne turned him into Super Yuppie, I got nothing for you. I don't know what to do. But yeah, what can you do? I don't know. Yeah. It's not to score touchdowns, though. Where did this go?
Probably the most difficult person I ever met was Tom Savini, of all people. Mm-hmm. Maybe he was just having a really bad day, but he was very, very short with people. Didn't want to, sign anything. Didn't want to post some photographs. He clearly did not want to be there.
Oh, wow, really? Wow. Did you tell me that before? Or did someone else mention that to me? Because now it's getting around that he was kind of that way. Only stupid change, Steve. I only hate stupid change. But so did you mention that once before? Because I think I've heard that somewhere. Maybe I've heard it from someone else that he's kind of
I probably heard it from somebody else. I don't think I've told that story before. Wow. He signed 8x6 or whatever size, the autograph things, but he didn't want to make conversation with anybody. He didn't want to look up. It was like a production line, and there wasn't that many people there anyway. So he could have spent a little bit of time to talk to people, but
Look, if somebody can't be nice to you, Purple, then there's no hope for him.
Maybe I just caught him on a bad day.
I don't know. Minimus says that he was nice to him, but maybe he was blind. Hey, Steve, I'm the same way, dude. I like a lot of Byrne's work. I do like a lot of his work. I just like I'm just mad at him for a few things, but hey, I actually do love a lot of his stuff. I just think he should never be allowed to ink himself. Ever. I'm reading a Byrne thing right now. Purple, a big old omnibus I got of his.
So I've just picked up a big omnibus of Kirby, but it's the horror stories that he did with Simon.
Oh, really? Where'd you get that?
I got it from a local comic book store. It's
nice.
Cheap. It was very, very cheap. I think it was less than £5 for the really big, thick omnibus.
Well, I think I may have seen that one online that you're talking about, because they also did one for science fiction stories of the 50s. Is that the Simon and Kirby one you're talking about?
It is, yep, that's the
Oh
one.
God, yeah. There's that one. There's a few different editions. Those are beautiful. I bet wow. I bet it looks cool. Love
It
that.
does, yeah. I'll send you a picture.
Oh
But
damn, yeah.
very cool.
Someone showed a picture of one of those volumes recently, and I went and looked at it, and it had that one you're talking about as well. I mean, he did so much. I mean, he did so much, and that was when he was teamed up with Joe Simon after they got back from the war. That's probably from the 50s, probably, if I'm imagining it right.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. By the way, well, so you're reading that now, or you just got it?
I'm reading it at the moment. Yeah, when I get time, I kind of dip into it.
Yeah. Do you have any other stuff? Do you do that? Do you like read have a couple things? You read a little bit of one and read another, then read a bit, or do you just like focus on one when you're reading something?
Tend to dip in and out. What I tend to do is I'll read a novel when I get time. But if it's something like a graphic novel or something, I can usually kind of dip in and out and remember where I left off.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Lately, I've been where I would just read just one thing and try to get done with it before I would do anything else. And so I've been reading that Superman Batman Generations by Byrne, that omnibus I got for a good price on there. And I have friends that cause me much discomfort by telling me about stuff that came out that I don't want to know that came out, because I want to go and look for it online and stuff. And sometimes I'll accidentally order it when I shouldn't, like on instocktrades.com. Which has really good prices on stuff. I just ordered some other ones. I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to read them, but I got ordered they did it's a Jack Kirby Captain America Bicentennial Battles Treasury Edition. Now I have the Treasury, so you'd think, why would I need the big new trade paperback of it that's really huge, that has some added things in the back and stuff or whatever, but I had to have it.
Sometimes, like you say, you've just got to, you see something, you just, if you don't pick it up, you're going to regret it. I've done that plenty of times.
Oh, I have a question from again, I agree. I kind of like Byrne's. I like Byrne's first early run on FF. Did you read his Doctor Doom stories in the early on one?
I did, yeah. I've got to admit, I do like his take on the character.
Yeah.
I don't know him the way that you know him, obviously, because you met him, but I actually quite like his work, I've got to admit.
Well, I love it I love this. Like I said, I like this first couple of years run on FF. I've loved a lot of his work, especially some of his art. And of course, I think that he did a good job at least handling most of the plotting chores when his Claremont, X-Men run. His run on X-Men with Claremont. I mean, I got to give him a lot of credit for that as well. And I've loved a lot of his work. I just think he shouldn't be allowed to ink himself. But other than that, and he did ink himself on those first couple of years of FF, and it wasn't that bad. But later, man, he just got. Even this like the Superman Batman Generations, it's good and all that stuff. It's kind of, I don't know if you're familiar with that one, but man, the inking, oh crap, man, he just DC should have said, look, dude, I know you like to get paid for 3 jobs: writing, penciling, and inking. I'm assuming that's the deal, because those are 3 different jobs on the comic book. At least they used to be, right? I don't know about now. So he's getting paid. I guess if you do all those 3 chores, you get paid for all of it. This was late 90s, early 2000s. So I guess that's what it was. But man, dude, get an inker for guy. Good Lord, it's scratchy. That book, I don't know if I told you about it, but it takes place from it's Elseworld, quote unquote Elseworlds. And it's what if the heroes aged in real time. So in other words, Superman, as you know, Superman started in 1938. Batman in 39. Well, what if it started, obviously they backtrack later and show that he was even Superboy in the 20s, in the 30s, you're going up before he became Superman. And then it does, how comic the last 30, 40 years of the comics, that, characters don't age, obviously, because you understand they really can't. You can't do that. Well, he did it as if that were the case. So those are generations called Superman, Batman Generations. And so the characters age, even though Superman doesn't age that long, it's his family tree and it's Batman's family and all that kind of stuff. And there's a while, and some of his stuff from the 70s, because he does them by the decade in the early ones. Some of it's pretty depressing. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Byrne, man, I want to enjoy this book. It's kind of really enjoyable started out, but then later after that, it gets beyond that, and it's pretty good. The story is pretty, it's fun, it's crazy, it's silly fun, but it's also pretty brutal stuff in it as well, because the characters have to age, and he finds excuses to keep them going, all that kind of stuff, without giving too any spoilers. But it's an interesting idea, because
I'm going to have to look more into this, to be honest.
But the art, again, it's good. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, Anchor, man. Like,
sorry.
I'm just saying. I mean, what do I know? I can't draw flies, but even I can look at it and go, Jesus Christ. I mean, but anyway, I don't know. Man, nitpicking, right? A little bit of a nitpick. Oh my goodness. Oh my god, look how long I've kept you on this. Look how late it is over there. Oh, I guess you would, wouldn't you?
No, I'm loving it. And then I'm walking through another good one who I met, Jeremy Bullock. He was a real sweetheart, and so was Dave Prowse. I got to meet him before he passed.
Oh, they're both gone now. Yeah, they were great. Peter Mayhew was nice the time I got to meet him.
I've heard it was nice. Never got to meet Peter Mayhew, unfortunately, or Kenny Baker.
Oh yeah, Kenny Baker is from down here where I am, actually, or Mississippi, from what I understand. They're close to where I'm from what I understand. And he passed a while back, I guess. A good while back now. But yeah, I'm trying to think somebody. I mean, I gotta say, it's kind of funny. Almost most of the comic book people that stand out for me, you think the big celebrities that I met, the few that there are, would stand out more. But I can't think of any of them that weren't really. I don't know. Maybe they were nice to me because I was bigger than them, and they're like, "I just be nice to him so he won't step on me or something." I don't know what it is, but I'm just kidding. I don't know. Most of them are, but like we were talking about, the smaller ones though, or the ones that aren't like super gigantic prima donnas, usually can be pretty nice.
Yes. Yeah, most of the people, like I say, that I've met that have been in kind of horror movies seem to be really nice.
Yeah.
Tony Todd, for example, he was lovely.
Oh yeah, and he's a giant too. Yeah, absolutely. Jewel State was a sweetheart. I don't know if you remember him. You've heard from Firefly.
Firefly, yeah, absolutely. I've heard she's really sweet.
In 2004, that was when we first, like, the first semblance of the con for Firefly, in terms, it was Dragon Con, but we kind of just sort of a makeshift group, Brown Coats group, like whatever. All the freaks for Firefly were gathering around or whatever, and there was a Brown Coats table, and Dathan Fillion, Jewel State, and Adam Baldwin were there, and they were really great. They were really nice to us, and I had a cast picture, then I had a couple of individual pictures, and I remember I was hanging out at the Brown Coats table talking to her, and I think she had her husband there or something, was a comics geek, so we were talking a little bit, and I showed her this picture. I'd already got a couple of autographs, and then got one from her earlier. It wasn't $1,000 to get an autograph at that point. It wasn't like $80, $90. I think it was like, I don't know, $10, or it wasn't really something horrible. You could buy a pick and get it from them. I think you buy the pick, you get them to sign. I can't remember exactly what we paid for it, but it was nothing horrible. But it was still, a few bucks, right? And I said, oh, and I was just talking casually. I didn't mean anything by it. It's just something. Oh, yeah, and I got this picture from him. I'll come get you to sign that later. She says, or something like that. She said, oh, please, you don't have to stay in line. And I said, here, just give it. She grabbed it out of my hand and signed it. And I said, well, I got to pay for that. She says, there's nobody standing around here. You don't have to do that. I mean, she doesn't, the Dragon Con police that didn't, the people making you pay. Mm-hmm. I think what it was still kind of early on in cons, and she felt kind of weird about charging somebody for an autograph.
Yes, there was that kind of, at least back in the day, they weren't quite sure how much people were willing to pay, or whether, because you'd already paid to get in, should they be charging? Yeah.
Yeah, because for a time there, you pay, even if they were selling picks at their table, what would it be, 10, 20, $10 for you pay them $10 and then we'll sign it for you. if they were the relatively smaller celebrity, I guess. Now it's just stupid money. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's $300 to breathe the air of William Shatner for 2 seconds.
Yes, I've heard mixed things about Shatner. Apparently, sometimes I suppose it depends on who you are. He'll pay a lot of attention to you, or he'll ignore you completely.
Yes, yes, I've heard those things as well. So you never know what you're going to get with him. But he's Shatner. But still, even not just him. They, at least he's one of the biggest, most famous people in the world. And it's still too much money. I wouldn't be able to pay that, and wouldn't pay it anyway. But some of these people have now, even people that you would go, wow, you're charging 60, you're charging 80 or whatever the hell.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Probably a good example of that would be Christopher Eccleston. He never wanted anything to do with Doctor Who after he left, and now he's kind of getting back into it, and he's doing the conventions, and he's charging a heck of a lot for an autograph.
They got a racket going with these cons. They get together with these con people, and they get these photo ops. I was at, Michael Lynn and I went to the first Pensacon in 2014, and that con was just so laid back. I mean, it was in an ice skating rink, but not ice skating rink, an ice hockey rink for a semi-pro team in Pensacola, and a hotel next to it, which is the strangest venue for a con I've ever been to. And I walked in there, and I don't know if you're familiar with who Parker Stevenson is.
No, who's that?
You ever remember an old show called The Hardy Boys?
No.
Oh, really? Well, he was famous here in the States as a famous like a teen idol on a TV show. The Hardy Boys are a series of old, like Nancy Drew mysteries, but they were the Hardy Boys books from the old days. They did a TV series in the 70s and 80s. He was famous for that show, and he was actually on Baywatch for a while and stuff, the original first season. But he was on a show that I love, that I'm the only person in the history of the universe that knows the show. It was made for me only. Did you know I had my own TV show?
I did not.
Not about me, but it was made for me.
Made for you, just for you.
It aired only 7 episodes, sadly. I'm the only person who loves it, cherishes it, watches it, memorizes it, has seen it over and over again. It aired in 1988. He was the star of it. It was a great show. He was on a lot of stuff. A lot of people know who he is. I mean, I guess maybe they didn't show that over there where you are. And I'm the only one that loves it. And he was on that show, and it was so obscure, it was called Isaac Asimov's Probe. And I love it. It was a science detective show where he plays the smartest man in the world who solves science-related crimes. It only lasted 7 episodes. I rail on about it, and it's actually, so it'll never be on DVD ever. I have a bootleg of it, but I recorded them off of TV when they came out in '86. I've watched them over and over again. I haven't memorized. I just love it more than anyone. You should ever love a show. And it was only 7 of them, and he was absolutely brilliant. And I didn't want to watch it the day it came on because the Hardy Boys guy, nah. But the name Isaac Asimov was on it, so I just set the VCR. Went to work, came back, and that was it. I fell in love with the show, loved it. 7 episodes gone because I loved it. I made the mistake of loving it, and I still love it. Everyone else, almost. In fact, I don't know if anyone else even knows about it.
I've never heard of it.
No one has, unless they met me, because I insanely go on about it like an idiot. But they're actually on they're actually on YouTube, because it'll never be on DVD, and I mean never, because Universal's a bunch of jackasses.
That's one that you could have done with having on bootleg.
I do have it on bootleg.
Oh my god!
Because my DVHSs wore out, I'm going to transfer it into disc. The discs are kind of old, so I managed to get a bootleg before they stopped having bootleg tables, and they're fairly decent copies. But I can watch an episode and know if 2 seconds are snipped out, because they only ever had any airtime repeats on the Sci-Fi Channel in the early '90s when they were actually good. And they had this thing called the Series Collection, where they would show short-lived science fiction shows, and it was technically sort of science fiction. So I go in there, and there's Parker Stevenson. Everybody who knows him knows him. He was on North and South. He was in a lot of movies here and there. He was married to Kirstie Alley. He was famous for that in the '80s. he was I mean, every teenage girl was in love with him and Sean Cassidy, David Cassidy's brother, on that show, The Hardy Boys. Nobody knew about Probe. He had a picture sitting on the table from Probe, and when I mentioned it to him, he said, "I never put this picture out. I don't know why I put it out. No one ever sees it. You know the show?" I said, "Know it, dude." And we talked about it. He said he did remember. He said he really loved it and wished it had lasted. It was one of his favorite things he ever did, but it didn't last. But I didn't know if he was just, at first I just didn't know if he was being nice or not. This is one of the greatest conspiracies I've ever had, because he's such a cool dude. We talked about it. He hands me his, I told him I had a podcast and I talk about stuff like that. And it was coming up on an anniversary. He handed me his business cards. "Oh, well, call me sometime. I'll talk to you about it." Oh, man. And I bought the picture from him, got him to sign it. He was cool. Hour or so later, he's at his little panel, and there's only a few people. Everyone's old, like me, in there, just about. And most of them are women, because they were kids. They were the young teenage girls when he was on Tiger Beat magazine. Yeah, he was a teen idol, you know. And all those teen, the heartthrob and all that stuff. So they were there for the Hardy. Everybody's there for the Hardy Boys. He walks in. There's a good bunch of us in there, and he was on Baywatch for the first season, but with Hasselhoff. And he just looks around and he goes up on the stage. He says, "I don't like sitting above people." He takes the chair, puts it in the middle. Let's all just gather around and talk. And we did. And, I started, for some reason, he got me involved in the panel, and I helped run the panel with him. I don't know why he asked me to help him, because he's never done a panel at a con before. He was only came to that con because of the Air Force Base in Pensacola was there, and his father was in the Air Force there, and he'd never been able to visit it. And he agreed to go to that con. He's a photographer. He doesn't do a lot of acting. He's been on a few things recently, but not much. Super cool guy. The whole weekend we hung out, just talking, went to dinner together, hung out at the bar together, all kind of stuff. Great dude.
That is an awesome story. Did he do the show as well? Did you
I never called him and bugged him to come on the show, because I figured I didn't want to. I just felt like he was, I just I don't know. I didn't want to do it, but he told us stories about, he was, oh, by the way, Dirk Benedict, Starbuck and Faceman, was there, and they're best buddies. And he told us all kind of stories about him and all kind of stuff. And he was there, and it was great.
Is he still with us, or is he passed?
Oh yeah, he's not that much. I mean, he's like in the 60s, but he's still, man. You look at him, he doesn't look like it. He looks really young, in great shape. Hey, Eric, what's up, brother? Good to see you, buddy.
You need to reach out to him and get him on the show.
It's been 2014. He probably. You know what happened that was weird though, is about 6 months later at a different con up in South Carolina, or somewhere up in there, he actually went to a con there, and a buddy of mine who had told about it, a good friend of mine, went up. He met him, and the guy, he wanted a Probe picture also, because he's one of the few people that knows about the show, because I never shut up about it. And he didn't. He was out of pictures. He had to get one, and he told him how a friend of mine. You just told him a friend of mine met you and got that picture from you and hung out with you at Pensacon, and he remembered me. I couldn't believe it.
You know what? I bet if you told him that story, he'd remember you.
He might. He really remembered Melinda.
We need to make this happen. I'm going to try and contact him and tell him that story.
I still have his number. he really remembered Melinda and Michael. As well.
We're going to get him on the show.
We got on the elevator and at that con, and this skinny old dude, short dude in an old army jacket was kind of started making some quips with Michael and Melinda in the turbo lift, and joking around with them. And I just didn't pay much attention. When they got up, they started going nuts. I said, "What are you talking about?" "That was Dirk Benedict." And she loves him. She's a big fan. We're all big fans of his. I love him from Battlestar Galactica. They love him from the A-Team. I was like, "That was Dirk Benedict? Holy shit." I didn't even recognize. The whole time I'm standing like an idiot. I couldn't even tell it was him. Cool dude. The crazy old dude, loved him. It was a lot of fun. Every time we got on that elevator, there was some celebrity. Ernie Hudson got on. One time we started talking around the elevator. I'm like, "Oh, it's Ernie Hudson." I didn't say anything. He says, "So, how you enjoying the con?" "Oh, it was that kind of con." Cool dude. It's like weird.
That is a fantastic story. I love that.
That was one of the best cons I ever went to. Even though it was in a freaking ice skating rink, that after a couple of years, that con got so crowded. They're still having it, but I don't know where you can't go. The dealer's room was down on the ice.
Oh my God. I've been to conventions where they used football stadiums. So
really?
Circular. It was really weird and really, really crowded. It was horrible.
Wow. It is weird. This thing was tiny. It was tiny. But yeah, see, those are the ones, the smaller ones are the most fun for me. Kind of, well, like I said, when friends are there, it doesn't matter the con that much. I mean, you have a lot of great fun at it. I don't care if it's the biggest con or the smallest. If you're there with your friends, it's fun. It's no matter what. It's just that a bigger con can be more pain in the ass to get around. But you know what I'm missing about since I haven't been to back to DragCon in about 5 years? You know what I'm actually missing? You want to hear something stupid? You know what I actually miss about it?
What's that?
The food court at the mall next to it that I used to love. They had some like a rich and you couldn't find a seat half the time because it was so crowded. It's like a little mall inside of like a little tiny shopping mall with a big food court in a business building because that was all the business district. Some places I love to eat in there, but you could barely find a seat. But still, I would have all the different ones that I had to go to at least once or twice. I miss that. Why do I miss that more than the con? It's stupid. But it was fun. Oh, man.
I can see what you mean, though. Yeah, like you say, once you're there with your friends, it doesn't matter. You know, even if you don't meet anybody, it's the experience, and that's what we're missing at the moment.
That's what it is. It's there to have fun with fans. Yes, ClobbyCon will be a must, but only if Purple can make it.
I name the date, and I will be there if I have to swim. It'll happen.
It'll be in the far future. And Eric, well, you know, look, look, you guys. I'm sorry to say that ladies come first. So Purple's got to be there, and Raquel's got to be there. Then you guys are, of course, allowed to. Eric, you got to be there. Chris, you got to be there, of course. And everyone else. Everyone else is invited except Pat S. because he lives too close. Just kidding, buddy. You better be there.
Yeah, Clobby entering into the hall. Yeah, a lady on each arm.
It will be now. Of course, there won't be any kind of set place for it because I'm not like a rent a place out or anything. Everyone's just got to show up in the middle of New Orleans and say this. We deem this ClobbyCon. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know, but it'll happen one day. Even if we have to take ClobbyCon to a real con and hang out.
So like a con within a con. That's
yes,
cool.
We are bringing this con to the con. Yeah. Oh my goodness! Well, look how late I've kept you up, and we've kept everyone here tonight. What a great crowd we've had, though.
We always do. Thank you, guys.
Purple, we got to think of a topic to do soon because I got any excuse to get you to come hang out with me, I'm going to use. But I keep thinking after I do every Monday, whatever, like tonight, we plan to talk about cons a little bit and some other like little incidental stuff or like some open comic. But every Monday, I have some sort of comic book related topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every time I get done with one, I'm in a panic because I'm like, oh, what am I doing next Monday? I don't know what I'm going to do. I do know a few things in the future that aren't going to happen, right? For example, aren't going to happen yet. I'm going to be doing top 25 all-time favorite comic book stories.
Nice.
I did. That's going to be daunting, though, because I started to do it about a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, no, you better, 10. I had a top 10 of that, but that's one I never did a top 25 of because, comics aren't Flash's strong suit. He likes comics, but he hasn't read as many. He hasn't read them in a long time. So it's got to be somebody who's, anyone who wants to do it with me. It's got to, as long as you read comics, you're cool. If you got your favorite time, but still coming up with 25 is not easy for me on that one. Then let's see. Now, in the not too distant future, and I don't mean next Sunday AD for the MST3K fans, Script Doctor and I are planning we're going to review all of Batman the Animated Series. I think we'll do it by the season.
Oh, I can't wait to hear that one. Love that.
He's a great dude, and I love Batman. So that's just a matter of, even though obviously we've both seen it, it's a matter of going back and watching it all. That's coming up soon.
Nice.
Of course. And, in a few months, it'll be, since we already did the second Hall of Fame, Clobber Times Hall of Fame, that the third one of that will be soon. But you and I have done villains like what, twice now or 3 times?
Yeah, we've done villains. Yeah, we did the more famous ones, and then we went on to more obscure ones.
We did. So
And we
it didn't
did
have.
ladies as well. We did
We
female
did.
villains.
Yes, that's right. That's right. When we left out a couple, I think that I figured out like 3 days later. But I'm trying to think. So, like I say, anytime you think of one, it's helpful because you want us to do. But I'm thinking, I mean, we can still do more villains, but it doesn't have to be that. So, whenever you come up with one, because hell, look, if you just want to just hang and do a general comic stuff, Monday nights are usually, like I said, unless I got one planned, like like the one I'm doing Script Doctor, but that's going to be a few weeks off before we start that. I got to get with him on that because I'm sure he's a busy man, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And but other than that, like after we're done with this, I'll be in a panic for a few to trying to think of what I'm going to do next Monday night. So always bear in mind, if you don't mind, like staying up to all hours, and you think of one that's good that you think that, again, I don't know everything. You know, obviously there are topics that I don't know a lot about much with comics, but you know, I try. So if it's one that you think that would be great, please just let me know. And you know, that's likewise for the chat as well. Any friends out there that if they ever think of topics, sometimes they'll sling a topic at me, go, oh, that's pretty good, but man, that would take a lot of preparation. I don't know I mean, that's something I have. And you know me, I'm not much of a prepper. I just wing it 90 some odd % of the time. I do know. If you call research watching the movie before we review it, like in the case of these Trek movies, that's not research, you know, or like when I was watching, when Raquel and I were doing animated series, we would watch the episodes before. That's my idea of research. That's if you call that research.
I'd class that as research.
But you know what? I don't have to watch the movies to have. I mean, I'm going to do it, but I don't have to. There were times when we were reviewing the second season of Star Trek when any of you tell Raquel this, I will tell her that you're lying. I will say they're making it up. No. But there were a couple of times I didn't get a chance to watch the episodes. But it was the second season. It was second season Trek. I'd watched them so many times I could wing it. When it came to the third season, there were a lot of episodes I hadn't watched much because I hated them or didn't like them much. So that I definitely had to watch the episodes. You know, we did 4 at a time. And the animated series, which I do like a lot, I had to watch those because, again, I watched them, but not like a zillion times like I have a lot of Trek, you know. Well, with the movies, it was not even necessary. I watched the 2 movies this week. It didn't matter. I could have done it without it. Didn't need it.
You know, the backwards. Yeah.
Trek 3, same deal. I've lost count. There's certain movies I've lost count of how many times I've watched it. But I'm going to watch them anyway. You know. So, but on Batman animated series, it's been a number of years since I've watched them all, even though I've watched them all over the years many times. It's been a long time. So I'll definitely watch that again very soon. There you go, Mark D with the C. We probably did hours of show prep. That's right. I didn't cheat at all on the second season. So anyway, let's see. What do you got going on? Anything that you could announce? And then, of course, please plug the channel and everything. And I will. And then I'll do show notes and we'll get out of here.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to be joining you guys tomorrow on the Comic Book Roundtable. So looking forward to that. That's going to be awesome. And then I will be back Wednesday, 10 a.m. Central. I got a show plan, but I've got to talk to the person, so I won't announce it just yet. And then Friday, a gentleman that was on a few weeks ago is coming back to talk about his Indiegogo project, Black Tiger. So that's looking forward to getting to chat to John again. So that was awesome.
That's fantastic. You did. I always have to go back and listen later in the afternoon because I get up so late. And when I don't get up late, my dad's got me out running roads with him, helping him do stuff. So I never get to. So you and Loki's show, of course, Loki's so early. I used almost getting to sleep by the time he comes on. Sometimes. But I'm about to change that sleep schedule, and that way I'll be able to actually watch in real time, both of you. But everyone. Purple's the greatest, and I love her so much. She's so fantastic to hang out with me. Again, it's the best having you here. And everyone, if there cannot be, and I refuse to believe it's even possible for anyone who is here to not be subscribed to you already. But if it's possible, don't you let me find out, guys, because I will hurt you. I'm just kidding. But no, please, if you haven't, of course. But if you are new to this show, or if you happen to be popping in, listening, whatever like that, we appreciate you, because people listen on re-listens and stuff. In the description below, of course, is a link not only to Purple's wonderful channel, everyone, but the great channels of many other very dear friends here on YouTube. And we ask that you please go support those channels, take a look at all of them, and subscribe. As Purple had mentioned, the comic book roundtable, or Loki's comic roundtable. He doesn't like it when I call it that. He thinks it's call it the comic, but he did create it, and he did.
This is true.
But anyway, that's Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time in the U.S., folks, and that's the crazy comic book roundtable. It gets crazy and raucous on there. We have a lot of fun, and so please join us for that tomorrow night, Wednesday night. 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, Flash and I will be doing our follow-up show to our top 25 all-time favorite movies list. Please bring your favorite movies list and talk to us. Thursday, the Global Geek Gang, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we will be globally geeking out as always. And, of course, Saturday night Star Trek, 2 more of the original cast films, Star Trek II, The Search for Spock, and Star Trek for the Voyage Home with my wonderful first officer, Raquel. And I cannot wait. Rock will be here to rock you all. We had so much fun this past week. We're having so much fun on Saturday Night Star Trek. And one final little note, August the 8th, it is up to us, the Global Gang of Geeks, to celebrate the world's greatest comic magazine's 60th anniversary, 60 years to the day of the release of Fantastic Four #1. And hopefully the wonderful Purple Valkyrie will join us amongst other guests.
I definitely will.
I appreciate that. I'll definitely keep you posted on that one. And that'll be 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on that Sunday. And I cannot wait. All of August will be, of course, Jack Kirby month. We're not even to July yet. But it's a far-off thing, but we're just letting everyone know. Hey, Jim's Talk. Hey, Blue Hero 96. Good to see you all. So that will be so much fun. We'll have some Fantastic Four. Now, I want to thank you all again for being here with us tonight. You've all been fantastic. What a great group, huh?
Amazing group. We have the best chats. Thank you, guys.
It's amazing. You guys are fantastic. Love you all. Appreciate you all for being here. And everyone have a great rest of the night. And always a big shout out to the great Stone Loki for this wonderful intro here on Monday night, Mark C. Comics Talk. Good night, everyone. And of course, Purple Valkyrie forever.
Good night, guys. It's clobbering time.
I'm replacing Loki with Purple for the clobbering time, y'all.